What?
So new I learned.
What is that? My son does that all the time. We were doing that earlier. We saw
I,
CD doing it in the end zone. I was like, "Hey,
I don't even know what that is, but
really?
when
Oh, you got to get hip. Then I don't know where you been at.
I mean, I see other football players do it, and I see people doing it on TikTok, and
It's all over TikTok.
I
Yeah,
don't
me and
know
my
what it
son
is, but
we're
it's
working on a
something.
new TikTok right now. It's a little thing the kids are doing. You
What is
know,
it though? What does it symbolize? What does it? Is it a fish? Is it
what does it symbolize? It's
yeah?
just a
Does it make
dance.
something smell or
No, I just think it's just a little dance. You really thinking hard, breaking it down, trying to
right,
decipher like what does it symbolize? Are there hidden
right?
clues? What does this mean, you guys? So you can always tell when you have a more mature crowd on your screen, right? You can
Yeah,
always
yeah,
tell what generation people are in when you listen to them speak.
right.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back here. Week 11 of the NFL is a wrap, you guys. It ended with the Cowboys versus the Raiders. But first and foremost, what is up, Nadi, aka James? How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself? Anything exciting happening?
Nothing exciting happened tonight. That's for sure in this
Oh
game.
yeah,
I'll tell
yeah,
you that much.
man.
What
I'm
was
glad.
exciting in this game was CD's little dance in the end
Yeah,
zone.
yeah,
Big boy who was dancing. You know when he got his little stop, he was excited. And then George Pickens jumping on that freaking thing. I was like, boy, get down. But I understood
yeah.
he was bored, you know? He was really, really
Right.
bored. So I'm not mad at him. George Pickens is so freaking talented. I'm like, man,
Yes.
this young man is talented. I just really hope that his attitude doesn't get the best of him.
I mean, he's been a good citizen all this year, and he's
Hmm.
due a big payday. Are the Cowboys gonna pay him? Can they afford to pay him, or is he gonna hit free agency? Can we expect him to be with another team next year? There's a lot of questions that are to be asked around about George Pickens. And once he does get the money from whoever he
Hmm.
plays for, will
Hmm.
he remain a good steward, or will he go back to the George Pickens of old? Because contract years have a way of getting players to be on their best behavior.
True. This is true. The thing is, honestly, when it comes to Jerry, because he's like paying people, like you can have a really, really good year, and then here comes the summertime. Jerry's trying to stir up some sort of controversy and get the tabloids and the media going, and then he draws out these contract negotiations, and we're talking about it all the way into the season's about to begin. Then he wants to pay you like midweek or before the game's about to start in like 5 minutes. So who knows? Who knows? But if he keeps playing like this, even if they don't want to pay him, somebody definitely will. We could take him in Buffalo. I'll tell you that much right here. Okay, like we could take him in Buffalo.
That might be a destination. He's used to
We could
playing in the cold. But
we could
he
take
is
him
a
in
Georgia
Buffalo.
boy though, so he might want to be somewhere where it's warm. But Buffalo definitely can use a George Pickens. I'll give you George Pickens.
Thank
Cause
you.
I can't give you
Like,
Miles Garrett. I can't give you Miles Garrett, but I'll give you George
Miles Garrett
Pickens.
is wasting away his youth and
He'll
his
be all right.
time.
He'll be
He
all right.
Now he
He's
got paid absolutely, but if
yes,
we're talking about, I'm thinking about legacy and things of that nature, winning. You know what I mean? I'm pretty. You have to want to win at some point. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to be knocked 5, 6 sacks a game just to come up with nothing. Like at some point, I'm hoping that he's like, look, I got paid, let me go. Like because we all know once you start getting a little bit older, they're like, it's been nice
yeah.
having you, but it's time to move on,
But
So
if Miles Garrett stopped playing football today, in 5 years he'll have a gold jacket.
yeah, I do believe he's definitely first ballot Hall of Fame the way it's going. But my thing is, do you want to win? I always think that when it comes to him, like, do you ultimately want to win? I think that he does. I'm just like, I think he wanted his money. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. I always say, I just hope that when it's all said and done, look back like, dang, I wish I would have really went someplace else and really fought, to get that ring, get that experience. But you never know, right? You gotta live through it. But you guys, look, this game left much to be desired. I will say I was happy to see the Cowboys out there. Just listen to some things that they were saying after the game. Listen to Dak talk. They were talking about Marshawn Nealon. Obviously, we all know that. He passed away. A few weeks ago now, a couple weeks ago now, not too many weeks ago. They had the bye week right after, so it was good to see them out there. Dak spoke about them playing for him, in honor of him, and just really rallying, together behind everything that happened. So that was great. I know it was emotional, I'm pretty sure for them as well. They had the shirts on, and that was nice. Paying homage and tribute, to him as well. Um, as usual, the Cowboys, that offense always looks good to me. Like obviously, the defense tonight looked like the Legion of Boom out there against the Raiders. I mean, I was like, wait, what defense is this? Because the Raiders look crazy. Gino looked awful out there. But before we go to the Raiders, what you think about the Cowboys' performance tonight?
I mean, I wasn't impressed. I can't really give them a grade. I can't judge them off playing the Raiders. The Raiders look bad every week, regardless of who they playing.
You
The
must play
fact
the
that
schedule you are given.
yes, I mean, yeah, get the win. Like I give you a C plus for getting the win, but you didn't beat
Hmm.
them 50-0. If they would have beat the Raiders 50-0, then I would say,
Hmm.
you know what, I'm impressed by what the Cowboys did tonight. But
Hmm.
the fact that you didn't win 50-0, like I'll give you a C. I mean, you're playing the Raiders.
Hmm.
I can't really. The Raiders are terrible. They're a terrible organization right now.
And I think they could have run the score up, honestly speaking. I felt like once they saw, like, getting to halftime, like how they would just run the ball, and do what they want. I really felt like after they came out of halftime, they were really comfortable. They were like, we got this, you know what I mean? So they kind of stopped putting their foot on the gas where they did more so in the beginning of the game. I kind of felt like they kind of eased up, a little bit in that second half. And the Raiders, their defense was trying, like they tried, like I felt bad for them out there. I really, really did. Now, obviously, like you said, this is the Raiders. They weren't out there playing against the Chiefs or the Eagles or whatever have you. But you got to play the schedule you've been given. They did just that. I like CD dropped that pass. Like CD, come on, there was nobody there. I'm like, how do you drop that? You're
Right.
wide open. Dak's face was
See,
like, huh? How
that's what
that
I'm talking
happen?
about.
But he had some issues with that earlier this season, you know, but that's not something he does every single game. So I'm looking at it because it's happened a couple of times now, but not to the point where I'm concerned, I'm not concerned. But I like, I said before the season began, I thought that duo, CD and Pickens would look really, really good. And I think they both look really good this season, obviously. So you got Ferguson in there. Dak is gonna be that, and honestly, in spite of their record, I was like, wait, their record is 3-5-1. I thought the record was actually a little bit better than what it actually was, just by looking at the offense alone, not even looking at the record. But based on what you saw tonight, of course they had some new additions to this team. Do you think, with everything that's going on right now in the NFL, all the injuries and things of that nature, that Dallas can? Do you see them making the playoffs? Or you like they're not going to make it this year?
No, they're not a good football team. And when Jerry made those trades, the one thing I was saying, Jerry, you should have got Sauce Gardner because you have
Mm-hmm.
no DBs back there. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you played the Raiders tonight. The Raiders just traded their best wide receiver and Jacoby Myers sent him to Jacksonville. They're playing with a
Mm-hmm.
rookie out there and Trey Tucker. Brock Bowers is the best thing they got going right
Mm-hmm.
now. You got an old ass Tyler Lockett who's on his last leg. I mean, the offensive line is terrible. I didn't expect the Raiders to do anything tonight. I knew this game was gonna be a snooze fest before I even put it on. It man, if I would have had a pillow and a blanket, we wouldn't even
Night
be.
night. You
Right,
feel
I
like
would have
night
woke up right
night.
before this show. You would have. I would have like, you just tell me what happened. I know the Raiders lost. How about how many?
uh, I didn't expect it to be the most exciting game. I think I texted you. I was like, wait, why they got the Cowboys and the Raiders on prime time? I mean, come on. I was like, whose idea anyway was it to put like the Raiders and the Cowboys? Like the Cowboys, I get because Jerry and all that stuff, but I'm just like the Raiders out of all the opponents on prime time, like on Monday night. Come on,
Well,
like
they
what we
they
doing
had
here?
they had to put somebody on that the Cowboys can beat and look good against, and so the Raiders were
Um,
their team.
I do think they can make the playoffs. Now we know when they get there, it's something different, like so. I'm not
Yeah.
going to go too far. I'm not going to say I foresee them winning it all, but I do think that they have enough offensively to get to the playoffs. But let's go over to the Raiders side of things because oh my God. I was trying so hard to stay away because I knew we had to do this show. But man, if I didn't have to do this show, I would have been like, night night. You know what I mean? Like I would have cut on my Netflix or something and called it a night because I was like, I don't know what's going on here. I really and truly don't. Gino looked awful. He looks awful. I don't I know like he's not Patrick Mahomes, not Lamar Jackson, but he looks awful. I mean, really awful. I don't know what happened between the Seahawks and then them bringing him to Vegas. He got the same coach that he was looking pretty decent with, the past couple of years. I'm like, what happened? Like, what do you think has happened to Gino and what's going on in Vegas? Because I don't understand it.
I can't believe that Gino is just that bad because I've seen Gino play a lot better. But
Hmm.
you come to a new team that has an offensive line that is terrible. Shout out to Stacey McKenzie. That's my
What's up,
mama.
Stacy?
Why my mama up this late?
That's your mom. Hi,
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you stopped by. Um,
mom.
yeah,
Thank
but
you for tuning in.
yeah, I appreciate it. I didn't even know you knew I was on tonight. That's what's up.
That means
But
the
yeah,
notifications are on.
yeah, that's part that means she's subscribed. She doing what she's supposed to do. So that's the positive thing. But the offensive line is terrible. Again, he has no wide receivers to be mentioned to throw to. He don't even. I mean, his best wide receiver is probably a fifth option at best. Um, and then my biggest concern with the Raiders is Chip Kelly. I don't think Chip Kelly is equipped to call offenses on this level of the game. Maybe in college it'll work, UCLA or Oregon, wherever you at. But this is the second time that I've seen Chip Kelly calling plays on the highest level, and it never goes well. So I put some blame there. I just don't believe it's all
Hmm.
on Gino. Gino hasn't been played well. He has to take some accountability for that. But there's a lot of
Hmm.
things around Gino that's also not ideal.
Look, Gino barely even got the ball out. Like before
Right.
we even get to the lack of weapons that he has around him, or the lack of talent, he could barely get the ball out. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys defense looked like I don't know, like a whole. If I didn't watch any game, I just saw this game. I said, oh, this defense is pretty decent. If I hadn't watched any games prior this season at all, like this defense is awful. Like people are averaging like 30 plus points against this defense, and I'm like every time, like like even went to it was like boom, like knocking him down or throwing the ball every which way. I was like, and then he was looking so confused, I'm like, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, exactly.
like you don't know what's happening. Like, what's going on? Pete Carroll chewing that gum like that, looking like he don't know what's happening either. I'm like, was there a game plan? Because we know that offense, they got CD, they got Pickens, they got Ferguson, Dak if he needs to. We've seen him extend, plays using his legs. Like they've been, averaging, 20 plus points a game, up until this point. So I'm just like, did you game plan at all? Was there any kind of game plan, any kind of film that you watched? Because they look unprepared.
They were unprepared. I knew the Ravens were in trouble when I saw
The
clips from
first play.
training. No, I saw clips from practice this week from the Raiders,
Uh-huh.
and Pete Carroll is out there wrestling his football players. I'm like, how is this conducive to winning games? You wrestling your football players, and then you slide over there like the referee. You trying to count one, two, three, and I'm like, this is football. This is not WWE. This is not.
Maybe they were having a in their
See,
defense. I didn't see it. Perhaps there
right.
was a timeout. Okay, you guys, we're gonna get back to work. Little laugh, make the daylight, get your water, and then we'll get back to the focus. That
But
could
this
I didn't
is
see it. That could have been it.
right. But you may be correct, but this is what I've been trying to tell you.
Here
You
we
have
go.
to the optics don't look good. You have to fool the people at home. Now when you wrestling your players, y'all having wrestling matches in practice, and then you come out and perform like this tonight. What am I supposed to conclude from that?
Well, they weren't good before the wrestling. The record speaks for itself. I'm just saying.
Right, you're correct.
But
Maybe they've been maybe they have a wrestling match every week and we just don't know it.
sometimes coaches have like their unorthodox way of doing things of winning. That could also be part of his coaching, trying to do something different. something out of the, a little bit creative outside the box, maybe. You never know. I'm just trying to
It
give
ain't.
Pete
It ain't.
Carroll just a little bit of,
You can't. You can't
no,
because it
okay.
ain't working. You hit me up earlier. You said maybe Pete Carroll is done. Yes, I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, yeah. I
I
said that
think
before they brought him there, though.
the game has passed him by. I love Pete Carroll. I love his energy. And I hope he can still coach because it keeps him energetic. It keeps him alive. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not knocking Pete Carroll, but clearly it appears that the game has passed him by.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Bill Belichick. These are legendary coaches who
Well,
are
we
getting a
can't. We're
damn
not
band
going.
off them every week.
We can't judge uh Big Bill and UNC. It wouldn't be right. It really wouldn't be right.
What you mean?
Um,
Is he the coach or he not the coach?
I'm not going to look at him at UNC. I'm just going to focus on what he
Okay.
did in the NFL
Well, them
because
last
they're
couple,
like two completely different like
well,
coaches.
them
Like,
last few years he had in New England were atrocious. So
that's true
it's
too.
right on par with what he's doing in North
But
Carolina.
it didn't look like this though.
Right.
Like it
Yeah.
didn't look this bad,
Right.
you know.
I
But
agree. I agree.
there's been a little bit of improvement since he like since the first couple of games, like not by that much, but you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a little bit.
I'll give Bill a little time.
Dak on his own, 268 passing yards. What did you think about Dak's performance, like without the rest of the team? Like,
I,
what do you think
I,
about
w-
him?
I
Wasn't
wasn't
impressed.
any more impressed than
Okay.
you're playing the Raiders. I can't look. I tell you what. I'm looking at the schedule. Right. The
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys got the Eagles.
I
You
know
got the
that. They're like,
Chiefs. You
the
got the
Lions today.
Lions. You got
Hmm.
the Vikings, and you got the Chargers. These are your next 5 games. Okay, this is gonna let me know everything I need to know about the Cowboys and their improvement since week 1.
I could
Let's
see
see
them
what
winning.
you do.
I could see them winning Vikings and Chargers. The Chiefs. Chiefs. I don't know about right now. But Lions. That defense is awful. So I can't see them stopping the offense. But you never know. And Eagles. I mean, they almost beat them week one. Now a lot has changed in the upcoming the weeks to follow. So we have to see again how it looks. But I'm gonna go on the limb and say they can. I expect them to win against the Vikings and the Chargers.
All right, so you saying in the next 5 games you expect them to go 2-3? That ain't gonna cut it when you talking
The
about
Chiefs,
making
I'm not sure.
playoffs.
The Chiefs, I'm not sure about. I am
Okay,
confident they should beat the Vikings and the Chargers. The way they
I
look
would
right now.
I wouldn't be surprised if they lost all 5 of these games.
Wow, you got to give them some more credit than that.
No,
The offense.
the Eagles, I think are a better team. The Chiefs, I think are a better team. The Lions, I think with the way
The
the
Chiefs
depth,
have one more win than they do.
yeah, but the Chiefs, I think the Cowboy defense is so inept that the Chiefs can score 40 points
Hmm.
against that defense, and the Chiefs defense is pretty good. I think the Lions can put up 40. I
Hmm.
think the Vikings have a really good defense, and in 4 weeks, JJ McCarthy can be a tad little bit better. He can go and put up 35
Hmm.
against the Cowboys. And I know Justin Herbert can put up 40 against the Cowboys. So they made some trades at the trade deadline. They brought in Keenan Williams and they
The
got Logan
same,
Thomas.
the same Justin that played against Jacksonville. That
Yeah,
Justin.
I figured it out. The Chargers was going on the bye week this week.
Oh,
They was
okay.
set for an early vacation. They
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
even trying to play no football.
Okay. Okay. That's what we're gonna go by. Okay, I got you.
Jim Harbaugh is gonna have them ready when they go into
Uh,
Dallas. I
what's
can
up,
I
big dog?
Yeah, I can see them. I can see the Cowboys
Mhm.
possibly losing all 5, but I think they'll at least win one. I say 1-4. If they go 1-4, their
Wow.
record be 5-9-1. You're done.
I'm gonna give them at least two out of this five. I'm gonna get put a little more respect on Dak
Okay,
and
then they'll
C
be
and
six.
CD
They'll be
and
six,
CD.
eight, and one. If they do
You
what
know.
you said, they'll be 6, 8, and 1. They're
Hmm.
done.
Well, you know what? Stranger things have happened. You never know, right?
Right.
The way this season is looking, with all the injuries and whatnot, when the teams that we thought would look better than what they actually are, who knows, who knows? I mean, for sure certain teams are going to be there. You expect the Rams to be there, the Eagles, the Lions. But there's always a team or two that gets in. And you're like, wow, I did not see this coming. There's always somebody that catch you off guard and surprise you. So who knows? It could be. Wait, hold on, hold on.
That's a
Big dog talk nice to me. Talk nice to me. It says the
yeah.
49ers versus Bills Super Bowl. You know what, Big dog? See, you
He's
was
clearly
talking
buttering
reckless.
you up.
You was talking reckless last time, Big dog, but we here right now. We here
See,
right now.
it's so easy just to get back on your good side like that.
I
That's
I
all
didn't
you had to
even
do.
have I wasn't even gonna talk about Joshua Tyrell tonight, y'all, but since Big Dog did bring him up, did you see?
He
Did you
didn't bring
see?
up Joshua Tyrell. He
Okay,
brought up the
but okay,
49ers versus the Bills.
okay, so when you talk about the Bills, you're talking about Joshua Tyrell Allen. That's it. Like there's nothing else you're talking about in Buffalo other than Josh, okay? My guy made history yesterday in that win. So and again, people consider Baker Mayfield at one point to be an MVP. I was talking about how the Buccaneers thought they could be championship contenders, all these different things. So
No.
look, that 44, right? Josh had to put his cape on, okay? He had to put his cape on to make that one happen. Okay, so
Yes, he
yes.
did. He played well. He played well. But I told you back when we did the first show, I said take Baker Mayfield out the MVP conversation. He's
Hmm.
not that good. He's not that
You
guy. He's
did.
playing well,
You
but
did say
he's
that.
not that guy. And
Hmm.
the Bucks are not nowhere near a Super Bowl contender. So definitely with all the injuries they have to their wides. But
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true
now
too.
I applaud Baker Mayfield because he is a gamer.
Hmm.
I give him that, and
Hmm.
he's doing all he can with the weapons that he have around him or the lack
Hmm.
thereof. I give him
Hmm.
that. But those two picks that Josh had early in the game against any other team, well, I'm not gonna say any other team because he could have dominated the Raiders, but you in the playoffs, those turnovers are gonna hurt you. Definitely with the way the Bills defense is lacking right now. They got holes in that defense.
That
So
same defense that also came back from being down late in the game against the
yeah, but
Ravens
again,
and won that game. I'm just going to provide some context and some
yeah,
nuance
yeah,
to
yeah.
this conversation.
I mean Josh played like an MVP yesterday. I get to him. He played like Superman.
As
He
he
ran the
is the
ball.
reigning MVP,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
is currently the reigning
Yeah.
MVP. Okay,
Yeah, he's the reigning MVP. He
in
played
case y'all forgot.
after the first quarter, he got his act together and he played really well. I give him credit for putting on the show. That was the best game of the day. I mean, they were going back and forth, and I was impressed with the level of resiliency that I saw out of Joshua Tyrell Allen.
Oh, you see my boy Glock Purdy back. Wow, really? I haven't heard that one. I know Big Dog. When I see the 49ers, I think about you. I'm like, Big Dog is a 49ers fan. So I see him back. Big Dog, you really want them to go? You really see them going to the Super Bowl? What you think about that, Nani? You see the 49ers getting
I
there?
like the 49ers. The 49ers are one of the, if not the best coach team in the NFL. Shanahan is amazing with what he does, and
Hmm.
he puts his team in situations to compete every week. Robert Sala got their defense flying around. They're playing really good football. George Kittle is back. He's making an impact.
Hmm.
When it comes time to the playoffs, I just think they lack the weapons that's
Hmm.
going to be needed for Brock Purdy to
Hmm.
beat a real team like the Rams or the
Hmm.
Eagles or the Lions. These teams will give the 49ers too many problems, in my opinion. But
Hmm.
I do think the 49ers are going to be right in contention, if they play an A-plus game and another team plays their
Hmm.
B-minus game, the 49ers will beat them because they are well coached.
Hmm.
I like the 49ers, just not to win the Super Bowl or even go to the Super Bowl.
I'm not going to argue with you there. I don't see them winning it. Like you said, they are missing, some weapons. I'm Brock is his health. I'm not sure if he's how long he's gonna stay healthy. If he can't stay healthy the rest of the season, honestly speaking, the health on that team anyway, and like as a whole, has just been really bad this season. So I don't know if they can even stay healthy to finish this season.
Right,
You know,
right.
um, but like to what you said, as far as it goes, like with the coaching, that's what makes a good coach, unlike someone else we know in a different part, of a different part, Cleveland, but we'll get to that a little bit later. When you see a coach that finds a way to win, no matter who he has, as the QB, you can tell that there's a system there. He's gonna find a way to manage the time, the clock, figure out what you can do, what's good to your strengths, and how he can, win a game. I like to see stuff like that because if you can only win with your QB, you can't do it with a backup. You can only do it, when you have your star player, but when your other players, you're missing your star wide receiver, like your record just goes to shit. Like you got to find other ways to win. And I will give Kyle Shanahan credit for that. He always finds a way to win or put his team in the best position to win.
Right.
So what you were saying. So yeah. You never know. Like Big Dog said, Brock is back. So we shall see.
Yeah, well, they played very well with the backup quarterback.
hmm
So
They did. Because it was a whole conversation. Like I think we spoke about it too. Like Mac Jones, Brock Purdy.
yeah,
Like, but yeah. Oh, hold on. Big Dog, Brandon Ayuk will be back soon. Ayuk, Pearso, Kittle, CMC, Glock. We can stay healthy. We will be good. It's the defense I'm worried about. No Bosa, no Warner. Are you concerned about the defense at all without Bosa
I'm
and
more
Warner?
concerned about the offense. Robert
hmm
Sala knows how to plug players in, and the
hmm
defense. Bosa's hurt every year. What year hasn't Bosa been hurt? Like, okay, so he's hurt. Okay,
hmm
that's no new news.
hmm
Warner is a blow pause,
hmm
but I'm not worried about defense. I'm worried about
hmm
offense. He telling me
hmm
Ayuk will be back soon. Okay, but Ayuk is coming back off a serious injury. I don't know what you're gonna get out of Ayuk.
That's true.
Pearsall is he's since he's been in the league. I know he got shot. That ain't his
I know,
fault.
right? That was
All the
crazy. Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
That ain't all the way his fault, but he still got
Not
shot.
all the
And
way.
yeah, not all the way. He had some complicity in that, but he got shot. I'm not blaming that on him. But even when he got back, he's been hurt. Kittle has been hurt throughout his career. CMC has been hurt throughout his career. Juwan Jennings is dealing with a back issue. He's been hurt throughout his time in San Francisco. Kendrick Bourne can't get right. I mean, you got a bunch of guys on offense that, yes, if they stay healthy, you might, but the chances of them staying healthy, I have no confidence in that because they're always hurt.
Unless I muted myself. I was like, wait, he can't hear me? I will say this is going to be to be continued. Like I said, I am concerned about them being able to stay healthy, so we'll have to see how this goes. We'll see how the next few weeks go before I can really like, okay, whether or not I see them, getting there. I don't see them even with their weapons. I don't see them getting there this season. But I feel like that window might have been a little bit lost. A few seasons ago, like they really had a great chance. This season, I don't know, but anything can happen. If you can get in, you can win. I always say that. Because
Right.
everything is back at zero pretty much. So you get in there,
If you
anything
can
can
get
happen.
in, you can win. Anything can
Yep.
happen as long as you get in.
But you got to get in first. So that's the
Right.
first thing. That's the first thing. All right, we gotta move on. Move on to my favorite topic of the day, you guys. It is freaking time for Shedeur. It's time for Shedeur, you
Oh, you
guys.
should
Set your
have an
watches
applause
up.
sound. You should
Set
have an
your
applause
watches up.
sound.
I don't have that. If you do, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah,
Um,
I need to bring my next week. I'm gonna bring my mixer so we can play
okay.
these sounds. Right.
So you guys, they are saying Shador is expected to make his first NFL start against none other than the Raiders.
Yeah. Now you got to
So,
ball against the Raiders. Now, if you don't ball against the Raiders, I'm sorry. You got to ball against the Raiders.
but
I hate.
before, go ahead. Go with your
No,
thing.
I was saying I hate that pressure
Mhm,
is gonna be there because
mhm,
we just saw what the Raiders did tonight,
mhm,
and so now the expectation is with a full week of reps with the runs
mhm,
and all of that, all the things that the media made excuses about
mhm,
yesterday. With
mhm,
all that, you're gonna have all that. You got to go and beat the Raiders because Miles Garrett, I can see Miles Garrett getting 6 sacks
mhm.
against Gino in that
Yeah,
offensive line.
that's true. Yeah.
Mason Graham, all those guys, the Raiders might not score.
Mm.
All you gotta do is play clean football, Shedeur. Don't turn the ball over. Don't
Mhm,
try to be too hero. Just put
mhm,
more points on the board to win the
mhm,
game. That's all we want to see. And if you do that, I think if he does that, he can be in line to start the next week.
I'm gonna go back a little bit to yesterday because me and you spoke a little bit about this, but obviously not like no fully. Waited for the conversation here to have it with you guys live in real time. I want to play this soundbite though from Get Up This Morning. I was listening to it at work and I was like, okay, it's not just me because you always defending, you stay defending Kevin Stefanski with your life. I'm like, is this like like one of
No,
your
I
cousins,
don't.
like one of your cousins, like from the other side, twice removed or something, because I don't feel like you keep it all the way above. But I'm gonna play this though, real quick. Hold on, you guys.
Halftime, it was the first time that their offensive line starting group had heard his cadence, which is in a game. That is very, very odd to for something like that.
Yeah, we usually in or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, usually, listen, as a backup, you would have maybe on a Friday you might get a couple. To have the starting offensive line not hear your cadence at all is very, very it's very strange, very odd.
Something there just doesn't seem right, Rex.
No, 100% it doesn't seem right. And look, here's the thing. And is it the kid? Or is it how you have treated this guy? Like, I don't know where the fine line is, but there's, I mean, certainly a disconnect. Why is there such a disconnect here? Is it the kid's fault? Is it the organization's fault? I have no idea. All right. But I am going to say this. The only energy I saw in the entire stadium was when that kid popped on the field.
Right.
When Shedeur walked on the field, you know who was wanting to see him play?
The fans.
The dang fans. And you know who never cared? His teammates. What the hell is going on in Cleveland? Yeah. What is going on in Cleveland? And so to me, it's like, are you not giving this kid a chance from day one? Why the hell did you trade up for him in the first place?
Who's running
Or is
the
it
scout
something
team?
about the kid that you can't stand?
What did you think? I wanted to make sure that I put Rex Ryan and Woody because Rex Ryan has been very much objective in this situation with
Yeah,
Shador. He's been very, very fair, very open-minded. Even a couple of weeks ago, he kind of threw Shador under the bus about not paying attention, when it came to
right.
practice, knowing film and so on and so forth. So I didn't want you to be like, oh, well, Uncle Acho, be biased and so on and so forth. I was
No,
like, nope, can't use that this
no,
time.
I don't listen to
Um,
any of the media guys.
but what did you think though when hearing that? Is there anything that you agree with, or you like, nah?
Well, I had heard the full Rich Ryan comments earlier as I was scrolling through social media, and he was wishy washy on the whole thing. But since yesterday, I've actually been hearing from guys who were career backups, guys who were fifth round picks, guys who were sixth round picks, and the tune was the same. Even Chase Daniels, those guys don't get any reps. It just doesn't happen now. If they are sitting behind a veteran, then yes, because the veteran doesn't need to have every reps. But when you have a rookie quarterback in Dylan Gabriel needs all the reps. That's just how it goes. Fifth round quarterbacks don't get no favor. They're not most times fifth round quarterbacks aren't even expected to play. So I don't think the Cleveland Browns did anything out of the ordinary by not getting Shedeur reps with the first team. He's the fifth round pick. He's the backup, and I got a rookie in front of him that needs all the reps because the priority is to develop Dylan Gabriel. The priority isn't necessarily to develop Shedeur, and that's just the unfortunate part about it because he's a fifth round pick. Now, do the fans, me and you, and other people at home, do we want to see Shedeur develop and play? Of course we do because we like Shedeur. We root for Shedeur. We pull for him. We watch Colorado football games. That's the case. But just being objective and being fair, Dylan Gabriel was a third round pick. He was picked higher, and Dylan Gabriel is a rookie, and Dylan Gabriel needs all the reps. So I understand Stefanski giving Dylan Gabriel all the opportunity in the world to succeed.
I gotta call hogwash. I gotta call hogwash. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I said a long time ago, this whole situation is really, really odd. Um, Shador, they're both rookies, obviously, right? Like they don't,
Right.
neither one of them have experience. So this definitely makes it a little bit, different. It's not like he's sitting right behind Joe Flacco or someone that has experience. So it's different in that regard. And obviously, to your point. Dylan Gabriel did get drafted higher than Shedeur. Whether or not I agree with this, a whole other conversation. But the fact is that he did go in the third round and Shedeur in the fifth round. But they're both there. You could have got rid of him, could have tried to get rid of him, whatever reason, he's there. You know what I mean? Like Rex Ryan said, like if you weren't going to use him at all, then what you got him
I
for? If you
agree
know
with
he's
that. They
just gonna
shouldn't have drafted him.
if he just goes sit there, you know what I mean? So if you said if the coaching staff is like, look, I like Dylan, I think he's the future of the franchise. That's how you feel, then that's your choice. I'm not mad at it,
Right.
but the fact of the matter is that you do have him there. And for me as a coach, I'm not saying Shador should get all the reps. I'm not saying he should even go 50-50 with Dylan Gabriel because Dylan is the rookie and he is who you chose to be the starting QB. But you have him as a backup, right? Like you could have kept Kenny Pickett, you could have got somebody else, but you moved Shador up, to back to QB2, if something is to happen. This is the NFL. Things do happen. Like injuries are a real part of this game, and to not have Shador, to not even know what his voice sounds like, so for him not to have not even one or two reps at all these months with the ones, not even a few, like you didn't think that that was a possibility that Dylan could get hurt, and if so, then what? Like you're gonna put no Zap in there? No, you put Shador in there. So to me, at this as from a coach as a coach, like he should have there should have been something else. There's no reason that he shouldn't have gotten at least a couple of reps by now. I'm not saying that's gonna get the same amount as Dylan Gabriel. I get that. But to have zero at all, like they were talking about it at halftime, you have the players trying to get used to his cadence and and how his voice sounds. The plan was obviously tailored for Dylan Gabriel as he is a starting QB, but you have to prepare. If Kyle Shanahan was the coach and the same situation happened, I don't think they would have looked like that. I don't. He's going to find a way to still win the game. And for Kevin Stefanski to be a former coach of the year, to me was very, very disappointing. Like two times, thank you. I didn't want to go into like details. I don't like that. But former two-time coach of the year, correction. I'm just like, you got to do better, because he's a rookie as well. And for him not to have none, zero, I mean, zero. That to me is a bit odd. Like it is. Something else is going on. You know what I
I
mean?
agree.
I've been said that. I don't know what it is. I don't want to make it about a race thing. Like, oh, Kevin Stefanski is racist. I don't think he
No, it's
likes
not
Shador.
race.
I don't
No, it's
think
not race
that.
because
I don't.
he had all black quarterbacks just a year ago. He
Yeah, I
had
mean,
four
look,
black quarterbacks play football
people.
with
I
his
mean,
team.
people gonna keep it a buck. Like, you can be around somebody who's black and not necessarily like somebody and fight, same way. You know what I mean? But I do whatever it is. I do not feel like he likes Shador. I don't. Like, I'm looking at the body language.
It's possible.
Like Shador is he's nervous. You know what I mean? Like he has had no practice whatsoever, and he's
Shedeur
just
nervous?
thrown in there. Look, he's a human being. This is the
I
NFL.
never expected to put those
Like
two words in the same sentence. Every
then
time
you're
I
not
hear
be
about Shedeur, it's confidence. Like if you
he.
put confidence
I
in the
do.
dictionary and then there's Shedeur right next to the word confidence. That's all
I
I've been
do
hearing.
I do believe that he believes in himself as he should, but this is the NFL. I think
Okay.
anybody will be nervous having especially he's not like he's hiding, in the back place, on defense where he's like blending in with the rest of the team.
Right.
Like he's a QB, so he's gonna be the focal point. And it's Shador. So even more so, it's even more eyes on him. You hear the crowd going crazy, you know what I mean, cheering and standing up, and throwing up their watches and things of that nature, showing their jerseys. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure his heart was beating a little bit fast. You know what I mean? Like, oh snap,
Mm-hmm.
this is really happening. I don't think he expected to even go in at any point at all this season. Maybe, if I'm being
If you're
honest.
the backup
You know,
quarterback, you always have to be ready to go in. You one play
but be
away
ready. Be
from being in
ready.
the game.
How? There was no preparation.
That's
I
the
mean,
life of a backup.
I guess
Backups don't get
mentally
preparation.
that sounds foolish.
I saw
I'm not.
Baker
I can't.
Mayfield get signed to a
I can't.
team, and two
Uh
days
huh.
later, he on that team. He throws a game-winning touchdown
Was he
because
a
he got.
rookie?
No, he wasn't a rookie, but he's still
Okay.
a guy
So,
who
but
went
there's
to a
a but
team
there's
for
a
two
but
days.
there's a difference though. There's a difference between. It's
Okay,
not as if Shador came from one team to a different
okay,
team, and
all
he's
right,
yeah, you know what I mean.
I
Like this
got
is
it.
his first start complete. We haven't seen him on the freaking turf, on the grass
Right.
since preseason. What
Okay.
month was that? Remind me. So I know like everybody's like, oh, we know he's a QB in the NFL. He's supposed to come out and be ready. I saw comments about Tom Brady. Well, Tom Brady was this and that. I'm like, He's not Tom Brady. Like
Right,
we
but
can't we
that's
can't
how
put
people were
you know
selling
what I
them
mean?
though. People kept saying, "Oh,
I
he's
never
so."
sold him as
No,
Tom
I'm
Brady.
not saying you. I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
people, all the people, all
Mhm.
his fanboys in the media. Oh, he's so special. You just put him in and watch him show out. Okay, they just put him in.
Mhm.
Now you see that he's just like any other rookie quarterback. He needs reps with the ones. He needs time to develop. He needs somebody to put him in the right situation. He's just not gonna go out there and all of a sudden be
Mhm.
Superman and change life for anybody. Now we get to see that he is actually human. And I'm glad that they can see that so they can take some of this pressure off of him and actually give
Mhm.
him a fair opportunity to
Mhm.
perform the way he needs to perform. But I think when you say and I agree with Rick's Ryan with this, there's some sort of disconnect going on in Cleveland. We
Mhm.
don't know the full story yet, and we may not know the full story until maybe next
Mhm.
year or the year after that.
Mhm.
But the Cleveland Browns, just logically, they should not even have drafted Shedeur. Somebody in the Cleveland organization decided I'm gonna take Shedeur, and there's another one or two people in that organization that said we that'll be the why are we doing that? That doesn't make any sense at all. And
But they
somebody
did
who
though.
I
But
know
they
that's what
did. I
I'm
was
saying.
like,
I'm saying, but that there goes the disconnect. So
but
because
we.
there's a disconnect, we're gonna see some strange things happening. It's like when you have a disconnect with the wiring. Sometimes the car doesn't start right or the wires start tripping because there's a disconnect. Like if everybody was on the same page and everybody was in unison, connected, we wouldn't have the conversations that we're having about Shador right now because everybody would agree, everybody would be on the same page. But because there's some sort of disconnect that's happening in Cleveland, and we don't have all the details just yet, but we will because somebody's gonna break that story. This is why we're seeing this sort of fracture between the relationship between Shador, Stefanski. I don't know what Andrew Berry's role is. I don't know what Jimmy Haslam's role is, but there is a disconnect inside of that Cleveland Browns organization because it makes no sense to draft two rookie quarterbacks in the same draft and have them compete. That
Mhm.
just makes no sense at all. It's never been done in the history of the NFL.
Play Shador soundbite real quick. You guys, I don't know if you guys watched Shador after when he was being interviewed. I haven't seen all of his teeth were showing from ear to ear. He was so excited just to even get the opportunity. I was so happy for him. Like I was like living vicariously. I was like he's so happy for the opportunity. God bless his heart.
Losing isn't something I'm comfortable with at all. I gotta take this one. I gotta decompress. I gotta understand, like, this really happened. On my watch.
How do you think you played?
I don't think I played good. I don't think I played good at all. I think it's a lot of things, we need to look at, during the week and go and just get comfortable even throwing routes, with Jerry and throwing routes with all those guys. So I think that was my first ball to him all year. No, but other than that, I just think overall we just gotta go next week and understand so then we have a week to prepare stuff I like to do.
Um, like I said, you know how I feel about Shador. So
I
for me,
appreciate his accountability.
yeah, of course,
That's one
yeah.
thing I say about him. Even when he played poor in the preseason game, his first preseason game, a lot of people were excited, and I was like, he played okay. And he spoke about, he said, I give myself a C plus, a C minus, or something like that. And I was like, that's about right. Like he's real with his game. Like he doesn't overhype himself the way a lot of his fans in the media like to do. That's why I just can't listen to these guys. I just want objective criticism for each and every player. I like players too. I have my favorite players,
Mhm,
but if my favorite players is caught up in a dog fight scandal,
mhm,
and I hear about him shocking dogs, I'm gonna say what he did was immoral. It
mhm,
don't matter how I feel about him. What he
mhm,
did was inhumane.
mhm,
And that just is what it is. I'm just a very objective person, regardless if I like you or I don't like you. I'm not a fan of Sean Payton, just like you. but the man is a hell of a coach.
He's okay. He's okay. But back to Shedeur. So I will waste no time talking about Sean Payton tonight. Zero time at all. But back to Shedeur. Like I said, I feel like we keep going back to why he was drafted. The fact is that he was drafted. I don't know whose decision it was. It was one person, two people, three, one. I mean, really, I don't even care because we can't go back in the past and undo it, right? But
All right.
it's like you have him there. So what is the plan? I don't. The thing is, if Dylan Gabriel was like playing lights out, I'm like, okay, you know what? I rock with Shedeur, but they got their franchise QB. Like I can't even like deny it. Dylan Gabriel, he's helping them win games. He's out there. I can see they found their franchise QB. I don't see that when I look at
He's a
him.
rookie.
It's nothing like with a rookie. I don't see a franchise QB. Like Jackson Dart is a rookie. There's quite a few rookies in the NFL. And when I look at them, I can say, okay, like Jackson Dart, I don't know what he's gonna be like in his whole
Right.
career, right? But when I look at him, I can see that okay, for right now, they found their franchise QB going forward. It was obvious the way the team responded to him, like his natural God given talent. Obviously, he still has more to learn. I'm not saying he's the perfect rookie QB, the best ever hit in the NFL. I'm not saying that, but I can see when I'm looking at him, I can see a franchise QB in the making. When I look at Dylan, I don't see that. I really don't, and it's
Yeah.
not because I like Shedeur. I just honestly I don't see. I didn't see it before, but even looking at him play throughout these games, I'm like okay, like he's not turning the ball over. I'll give him
Yeah.
that. But they're not winning.
I believe
So and it's been like I said, he's had way more experience than Shador. We going back to
way
college,
more.
but
Okay.
everybody talks about that though. People talk about that. They're like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
well,
College, he played a lot of
Shador.
games.
People say, oh Shador should have been, should have had a different coach from his dad. He should have played, in a different conference, and all these different things, had better competition and all these different things. I'm like, so the game will have that. He
Right.
did
That's
have
why he
that.
was a third
He
round
has
pick. And Shedeur was a
I
fourth
don't think
round
that's
pick.
why. But nevertheless, the fact of the matter is that he does have more experience. In college, he
Yes.
did. He has way more reps going back to preseason, training camp,
Right.
so on and so forth. And for me, I don't, looking at him playing Shador, like, I wasn't like, oh my God, like Dylan is miles above Shador, even with Shador having zero reps. And that's
Dylan
just
was
being
third
completely
in the
honest.
Heisman race.
I'm talking about in the NFL right now, though. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Like, I
Yeah, I'm
don't
just saying
see,
he's
like,
been
this
better than
season.
Shedeur his whole life.
Okay, that's your opinion. I
I
feel
mean,
you.
I'm just saying, I'm just
But
going by his college resume
mhm.
up to this point in the NFL.
And when
He's
I see him
on
play,
paper he's been better. Now
well, that's I mean, eye
eye test
test.
is
I don't
different.
see I
Yes,
don't
eye
see a
test should
franchise
do.
QB. I don't.
Yeah, but I don't know if franchise QB until I get opportunity. Drake May last year,
He
it
has
looked
had
like
opportunity though. Like you
he's
asked
only
him, is
had
there
5 games.
that's still quite a few games to
It's
see
not enough games.
something.
It's not
Nothing's
enough,
changed from
that's not
him.
enough games.
No, it
I
is
believe
enough games to
I
see.
believe
There's
if Dylan
nothing.
Gabriel
No. We're not going to play that game tonight.
I'm
Like
saying
we're
I
not going to
believe if
skate on that. Like
I'm
we
saying
haven't seen anything different in his game for a
I'm
few weeks
saying
now.
I
It's been
mean
the
he's only had
same
one
way.
bad game. I'm saying this if
You
for
saying the
Dylan
rest of
Gabriel
the you saying the rest of the 4 out of the 5 were good. He said one bad game. You saying the rest of the 4 out of the 5 were good?
for them asking him to do what they asked him to do, which is not turn
That was
play.
good. That was good.
I'm
The
saying
performance you saw was good.
ask a rookie to not turn the ball over and give your defense a chance to win the game, then that's what Dylan Gabriel has been doing. Now, yesterday, I believe the Cleveland Browns would have beat the Baltimore Ravens had Dylan Gabriel played the whole game.
I don't
Now,
think so.
yeah, because I believe he would have scored more than 0 points in the second
Mhm.
half. Shedeur gave them no chance to win yesterday. Dylan Gabriel at least gave them a chance to win the
Kevin
football.
Stefanski getting no chance to win the game yesterday because he didn't have a backup QB prepared. And even if with him not being prepared,
I
as a
mean,
head
everybody
coach,
can take a little bit of blame.
it's
I
your
give you
job
that.
to make sure that you,
I
knowing
give
that
you
he's
that.
not prepared,
I'm
figure
not gonna
something
put it
out.
all on Stefanski. Shedeur had to
I
take
am.
some culpability
I
because
am.
he actually played. So I would give
I,
the I would
he
give the
played.
coach
He played
50%.
completely unprepared.
Yes,
Preparation
because
actually
he's a
matters.
backup.
That
I
doesn't
mean,
matter. He should have
okay,
still had some sort of time
I'm
with
not.
the ones.
Yeah,
He
I'm
should have
not.
had some sort of time. We're not. I'm not. I
No,
can't sit here and pretend like he should not have. Why do
He
you have him as a
shouldn't.
backup if he's never had any kind of time at all with the
Because they
ones?
did the dumb thing in Cleveland of drafting
But they
two
already
rookie
did it though,
quarterbacks.
so I'm not gonna go
Okay,
back
so
to
my
it. If
other
that's
rookie
the case,
my
then move on from
you
him
can't.
or
Who
bring
wants
somebody
him?
else in there
Who
that
wants
has
Shedeur?
that I don't
That's
know.
like a
And you
high
can't say
total.
well, you don't know who wants him or not because you're not in the NFL. Did anybody call you and say they didn't want
Well,
him?
I would say
Because I
this.
haven't heard that
I
story.
would say this. There were three other teams who wanted Shedeur, and he turned them down.
I'm talking about right now.
Okay,
Like
so Shedeur
after
put
they already
himself in
after
this
he's already
situation.
drafted because we're not gonna I hate going back in the past because we can't go back in the past. Like we can only move
Okay,
forward in life. That's
so
all of us.
what we
As
gonna
of right
give
now,
as of right now?
if you are not going to give him any kind of reps at all, once a week, once every 3 weeks, once every 4 weeks, something that if God forbid Dylan Gabriel gets hurt and he's out for the rest of the season or he can't play for multiple weeks or something, knowing that Shador is the backup QB and he has to come in and he's been standing there the whole entire time and he has no kind of rhythm or chemistry at all with anybody whatsoever. That to me is foolish as a head
I'm
coach
not
because those
disagreeing
things
with you.
happen.
I'm not
Those things
disagreeing with
happen.
you. I
So
agree
what
a
I'm saying
hundred.
is,
I agree a
so
thousand
but what
percent
I'm
with you.
but what I'm saying is though, so if you weren't going to give him opportunity, you're like, you know what, we don't really like Shador. We really feel
Right.
like Dylan Gabriel is our guy. We got him in the
Correct.
third round. We don't really want Shador. Then
Right.
why didn't you move somebody else in that
That's
position
that's my
that
whole
has
point.
experience?
My whole point is
Then get you a Kenny Pickett kind of backup QB that has the experience and the know-how. But you didn't. Once again, he's
I
still
agree with
there.
you. I agree a
So
thousand
if you're going
percent
to
with you.
keep him, then find a way to prepare him
We're
somewhat in
we're
case he
saying
has to
that
come in.
we're saying the same thing in a different way.
No, we're
I agree.
not.
Yes, because I agree 1,000% with you. They should not have Shador on the team. I've been saying this for the last 2 weeks.
But that's not what I'm
I'm
saying. I'm saying
yeah,
you have
listen.
him there.
Okay, they shouldn't have him there.
You have him there. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
whether or not we agree that he should or
okay,
shouldn't be there,
okay,
the fact that you do have him there.
you have him there, but you have another rookie quarterback there too. You got to get that other rookie
Exactly.
quarterback all the reps because he's a rookie,
That
and
to
you
me
got to
doesn't make
develop him.
sense because now he's hurt, and now you're
Yeah,
clamoring trying to
that's
figure it
that's
out,
and
how to win. Like
that's why
that's
everybody in that organization deserves to get fired. And I think
okay. So then we
everybody in
can
the
agree on that.
organization, yeah, this is why I'm telling you. I think everybody in that organization is gonna get fired, and then in
Mhm.
2 years, or maybe even next year, we're gonna finally hear the story of what happened in Cleveland that caused this disconnect. Because this should not happen. You should not have two rookie quarterbacks on the same team. Because if you got one rookie quarterback on the team, that
Mhm.
rookie quarterback needs to get some reps in order to
He's
develop.
gotten all the reps. like,
That's
like, what are we talking about?
that's my point. I'm saying if you have one, let's say Dylan Gabriel wasn't on the team. Let's say they
Hmm.
just drafted Shedeur.
Hmm.
Then Shedeur should get some reps with the first team. But if I got two rookie quarterbacks, it's going to be hard for me to give both of them reps with the first team. That's why it was the most idiotic decision in the history of football that I've ever seen. I've never seen a team draft two rookie quarterbacks and expect both of them to get first team reps. This is something I've never seen in all my years of watching football. I went this whole week, this whole last week, and I'm asking people who've been around the game, who've been in the game, have you ever
Hmm.
seen something like this before? And the same answers come up. They've never seen anything like this before. So that's why I'm saying everybody in Cleveland, I don't know who's responsible for taking Shedeur in the fifth round after you took Dylan Gabriel in the third round. I don't know. But whoever is responsible for that needs to get their head chopped off after the end of the season. Because it was the
So
most idiotic decision made in the history of football.
So if your focus is to be solely on the starting QB, why is it that Dylan Gabriel got reps with the ones as the backup QB when Joe Flacco was
Because
there?
Joe Flacco is a veteran. Joe Flacco doesn't need all the reps with the one. Joe Flacco can go
Okay.
to a whole other team in Cincinnati and not practice the whole week. They put him right in the lineup
So,
and
but
he throws for
so so
350
so
yards.
then so we're making excuses then because if you're gonna if you're saying that should no Joe Flacco's the veteran, he's experienced,
Right,
and Dylan Gabriel is the rookie, which he is. He does need the reps again, which is he does as a
right.
rookie. You do it for one rookie, but you don't prepare the other one in
Because
any way, shape, or form.
one rookie
I
is a
don't care.
third round
It
draft
doesn't
pick.
matter if he went in the freaking sixth or seventh round. The fact that you
It
have him
does
as the
matter.
backup, it doesn't to me because things happen. People get hurt.
Yeah, but I'm just talking
So
about how
you
NFL operates.
Okay, so
I feel you.
I don't think
I
Kyle
feel you.
Shanahan I don't think Kyle Shanahan would have this issue if he was a 49er. I don't believe that. Now I
But
don't
we
know
don't
Kyle
know because
Shanahan
Shanahan never
personally,
done it because
but
him and
he's a smarter coach to me. He's going to
well, I
find a way to
mean
make sure that his team is prepared. I'm
that might be
tired
the
of making
case.
excuses for Kevin
I'm
Stefanski.
saying
It's
this.
obvious that he don't mess with Shador.
I'm
Even
saying
when Shador
Lynch.
came in the
Yes,
game, even when Shador came in the game, look at the body language
he might
in
have done
every
more
single press
Shedeur.
conference. But then be professional though. You're a head
He
coach.
is
That's your
professional.
job. He's
I'm
not
saying this.
professional.
I'm
He's
saying
not.
John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan they always on the same page. They've never been something so idiotic as to draft two rookie quarterbacks and expect both of them to get reps. That nobody does that. That's why everybody in Cleveland got to go. This is not how you run an
Hmm.
NFL franchise. It's just not. And what Cleveland has done, and I've
Hmm.
said this in the past, they've done both Shador and Dylan Gabriel a disservice. There's a reason why in the
Well, Dylan
preseason,
Gabriel hasn't been done this service.
but
I
that's what
mean,
I'm saying.
he's gotten all the reps and
Well,
everything else. Nobody
but
cares to see him, in terms of the majority of
no,
fans.
I'm.
But
When I expect Shador to start this week, I
that's what
expect
they
Shador,
said.
I expect Shador to play well this week. When Shador plays well this week, in my opinion, it's going to be in the best interest of the Cleveland Browns to keep playing Shador. Because I need to, like you said, I need to see what I got going forward before I go into the draft next year. And if he plays well, I need to give him 4 or 5 games, 6 games, and see what he got. Can he be consistent? Can he be our guy going forward? Well,
Hmm.
in that case, now you screwed Dylan Gabriel because now you've not given him as a rookie time to develop. And so either way it goes, you've done a disservice to both Shador
When
and let's say Shador doesn't play well. Well, if Shador doesn't play well, at some point you still gonna have to give Shador at least 3 or 4 more games to see can he have some sort of development, and you're gonna run 2 young quarterbacks who now they're gonna be on your team going forward. They're gonna be on other teams, and other coaches are gonna have the task of developing these quarterbacks, and
hmm
they can come back and bite you in the ass, just like
hmm
Baker Mayfield came back to bite you in the ass. That's what Joe Flacco
hmm
came back to bite you in the ass.
hmm
See, veteran quarterbacks, I want to get to that point. Joe Flacco didn't even have to play in the preseason. They didn't play
No.
Joe Flacco week 1 in the preseason. They didn't play in week 2 in the preseason. I think he played the last game or something like that because he's a
Yeah.
veteran
Hmm.
quarterback. He
Yeah.
doesn't need the reps.
And then
He knows every
Dylan came
play.
in and then Shador. Hmm.
Right. Joe Flacco knows every playbook in the NFL. He has seen it all. He's been in the league for 18 years, down to 20
Hmm.
years. You can't put Joe Flacco on the same scale as
No,
you
no,
would
no.
put
I'm
a
not saying
rookie.
he's the same. I wasn't. No, no, no. I didn't put him on the same scale. I said Joe Flacco was the starting QB,
Right,
and obviously he had the rest with the ones as a starting QB should. But your
right,
backup you had was Dylan,
right,
and
because you can afford to do that.
you still were preparing him in case
Yes,
something happened with Joe Flacco, and he
yes,
had to come in the game. So for
yes,
me, there's no reason at all that if you're going to have both of these two rookie QBs there. Forget why they drafted him, shouldn't have drafted him. The fact is that they did, regardless of how dumb
right,
it may have been, he's
right,
still there in that building. And he went
yes,
from being the third string to being the backup to Dylan Gabriel.
right,
And for him not to have not 1 or 2 reps at all, like there's 7 days in a week. You know what I mean?
right,
Like for him not to have, even if it's like the end of practice or on a random Friday, you give him
right,
1 hour with the ones. I'm not saying he is going to take 80% of the reps. I'm not saying that they should be going 50-50. Shador comes in. Okay, Dylan, you come in. I'm not even saying that. But for him not to have had any at all, like all these months, to me, it's just that you're not preparing
you're
him or preparing
correct.
your team because if something
Yes,
happens, he does have to come into the game.
yes,
And that's real
agreed.
life.
That's real life, agreed. And that's why everybody in the Cleveland organization should get fired. Because Dylan Gabriel, I can almost believe this. Dylan Gabriel is Stefanski's guy. Stefanski wants to
And
give Dylan Gabriel every opportunity to succeed. He doesn't. Shedeur is an afterthought to him.
But for me, Kevin Stefanski, to have the experience that he has, have the resume that he has, to have worked with as many QBs as he has,
Right.
you have to know somewhere inside of you okay, I can develop this young guy. This guy, I can only do but so much with. I like him, but he's not going to be the starting QB that I would like for him to be here. You
No.
have a championship, a caliber defense, and to ask them every single season, I don't know how many seasons, to come out and be the sole reason why you win games and not the offense. Again, I put that on coaching, ownership, GM, not just Kevin Stefanski. I'm putting it on everybody now
Yes.
because that's to put it all on the defense every single game. Like, how far are you really going to go as an organization if it's just defense and your offense is not really contributing at all?
You're correct, but you got to understand that they just didn't take Dylan Gabriel without evaluating Dylan Gabriel. They evaluated every quarterback in the draft. They had the number 2 pick in the NFL draft. They could
I
have
don't.
got they could have got any quarterback they wanted to. They had a whole evaluation process. They brought quarterbacks in, they worked them out, they had interviews,
Mhm.
they talked to all their coaches in college, they went back to their high school, talked to all their coaches, talked to all their parents. They did a thorough evaluation of all the quarterbacks, and at the end of the day, Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry decided we want to take Dylan Gabriel in the third
I
round.
don't. I don't believe. First, I'm taking him in the third round when you could have taken him earlier on. Tells me right away. I don't think that you 100% sold on him and his talent. Now you may like him. You know what I mean. You may think that he has some talent. You may have like family conversations and what you saw in college, so on and so forth. I can
Right.
get that.
Mm-hmm.
But taking him in the third round and then taking another QB, but you already had two there, tells me
Right.
that you're not really. That's we have four, and then if you count Deshaun, who
Yes.
I don't know what's
And you
happening with him,
count Tyler Huntley, that's
like
six.
like
Right.
so. That
There's
tells
six
me that you're
quarterbacks.
not really sold on anybody at this point,
Right.
not just
Right.
Shador. So
Yes.
to me, that's why you brought in another rookie QB to see. What I thought initially was okay, which one of these young guys, maybe neither one of them, you know what I mean, depending on how the season goes and how the development goes. Do we have them here? Do we have our future here? Do we not have our future here? And honestly
Yeah.
speaking, I can't tell if Dylan Gabriel is their future from what I've seen. And Shador, going up in there with this past game, I mean this game, I can't tell from that half a game if he should be there either, if I'm being completely honest, you know what I mean? But I do feel like they need to figure out what they're going to do for the future because the draft will be coming up. You know what I mean? Time goes by fast. So what
Yeah.
you gonna do? Are you gonna just
Fire
put all,
everybody
put, put all your
and
chips behind Dylan, or you gonna
yeah.
go and get somebody else and
You,
get rid of both of them,
you're gonna
or keep
fire
Dylan and move?
you're
Like,
gonna fire everybody and you're gonna allow the new general manager and a new head coach to decide what they're gonna do moving forward with the quarterback. That's what you're gonna do. It's gonna
and
be
then I
taken
can
out of
respect
Andrew.
that.
It's gonna be taken out of Andrew Berry's hand,
Hmm.
and it's gonna be taken out of Kevin Stefanski's hand because they'll
Hmm.
be looking for jobs elsewhere. And I
Hmm.
can guarantee you this: Kevin Stefanski will get another job quicker than Andrew Berry will because Kevin Stefanski's
Of course,
resume,
yeah.
yes,
Hmm.
his resume says that he's a good coach, and so he'll land on his feet somewhere. His resume is impeccable, but Andrew Berry, I hate it for him because he's a brother and I root for him. But this was the dumbest thing that any general manager in the history of football since I've been watching has done. I can't.
I don't think it was only him though. I know
No,
the owner
I
put
don't
it
think it's
out there
only him.
like that,
Right,
but I don't think it was only him.
right,
We'll see if it ever the truth comes out and sometime later on down the line this year, maybe who knows. I don't believe it was all the GM. I know what the owner said, like, oh, if you would have asked me,
right,
yesterday, I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like
right. I
you
agree.
had some sort of idea, but
I
play it
agree.
off,
I'm
you know.
starting. I'm starting to believe the rumors that the Cleveland Browns drafted Shedeur as a favor to somebody, whether it was Dion and he got to supposed to have a relationship with
Hmm.
Jimmy Haslam.
I heard
Somebody,
that. Mhm.
somebody
Yep.
asked the Cleveland Browns to do this, and he was like,
Hmm.
"Okay, it's the same way with Johnny Manziel. Nobody was gonna draft Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel called Cleveland and begged them to please draft him, and they were like,
Hmm.
"All right, we'll do it." And that was the ever
Dumbest decision.
decision. Right.
Hmm.
It wasn't dumber than this decision, but it was up there.
Oh man. So you guys, we're gonna move on, but I am excited to see Shador finally get a start. Like I heard him say, and I heard them saying earlier on the shows. Like I didn't know like and maybe I just, I haven't watched it as long as you, NFL, but I didn't know that the QBs go to the coach and like tell them like what plays like they want to do, like what plays they like,
Oh
and
yeah,
so
yeah,
on and
yeah.
so forth. Yeah,
Mhm.
that I didn't know. So, I mean, even when you knew
Not
that
all the
for me,
plays, not all the plays,
no,
but they
not all.
do
Like
select
some of
three
the
or
places,
four
yeah,
plays that
some,
they
yeah, that
really
they like,
like.
yeah,
Yeah,
that I'm not saying
right,
every single play, but some. I didn't know that,
right.
But for me, again, back to coaching, like I mean, we're right here on the fly, like in live real time, trying to figure it out. But at
Mm-hmm.
halftime, knowing that he was going to be the QB coming out, push the door to the side. Okay, like this is what we're gonna do. You know what I mean? Like I know that we like to kind of do this, that. We're gonna try to figure out something. I just didn't see anything at all,
Yeah,
and I could tell that Shedeur obviously was nervous. That's to be expected. We can pretend like, oh, he shouldn't be nervous. I mean, he's a human being. This is the
right.
NFL. You know what I
I
mean?
agree.
Like, you're gonna
I'm
be
just
nervous.
saying
I
what
was
they
I was
put out
nervous
there.
for him. Like
Yeah,
um, but it would have been nice to see the coach like kind of put like some life into him, you know what I mean, and into the offense, you know what I mean. I watched how Brian, like when Jackson went in, like I felt bad for Russ because you could clearly see how much Brian Dable loved Jackson Dart. Like he did not hide it whatsoever. I mean, the way he was patting them, kissing them, and I was like, dude,
mm-hmm.
like temper it down a little bit, like.
Right.
But you could tell, like, you could tell how he felt about it. You could tell how the
Yeah,
team rallied behind it. And sometimes, even if it's Kevin Stefanski, I know that you got Dylan Gabriel in the third round, and you like him better, or you like him whatever, you like him more. But shoot, you got this young man in here. Like, come on, like, encourage him. You know what I mean? Let's get this team riled up a little bit so that they can go out and win this. This is the Ravens team that's highly motivated. They got Lamar on that side. Derrick Henry. They're well coached. A lot of weapons. Defense was playing really good. The defense from both sides was really good yesterday. You know what I mean? On Sunday, in this game. So come on. Like I just and even like when I see him talk about Shedeur, he never says his name. Like
right.
the way like it's like the body language, like the it's like the lack of like it's
Well, he
just
said it, he said his name
you know
yesterday. Finally,
for the first time, yes. But
right?
it's been months though,
Because he's
like
playing now. He's
you
playing now. You
know,
don't. I've seen a lot of coaches not mention players by name because they're not playing. I don't want to talk about a guy who I have no game plan for. Like it's a distraction to the team.
but there are actually questions about him every single
Right,
like
and he
week,
gets tired of these questions. I'm tired of answering questions about the backup. Talk
But
to me
he's
about
been
the guys that I'm
I'm
actually playing.
I'm not gonna excuse no basic professionalism. You know what I mean? You don't have to do cartwheels in an interview about Shador, okay? But he has a name. Like he has a name. Like so, like at least no, call your man by his name. I don't think so either.
Who is they?
I
That's
don't
a
I don't think
that's a
so
question
either.
she always asks. Who is
This is mom,
they?
right? I don't think
I
so
know,
either,
but
mom. I don't.
who is they? When you
The
say
the, the,
they
the,
don't like him, who is
The
they?
Kevin Stefanski.
Okay, that's
Kevin
him.
Stefanski.
That's a
I'm
he.
not. I'm not sure about ownership. Honestly, I've seen Shador and
Oh, wait a
Antibury
minute.
interact before. I've seen those two interact before. They
Okay,
seem
okay.
to have some sort of camaraderie there. I don't
All
know
right.
to what extent. I'm not gonna pretend like I do, but they seem to have some sort of rapport there. You know what I mean? I don't see
Right.
any kind of rapport whatsoever, even like just basic. Like I said, I'm gonna say professionalism because he's the coach, and it's obvious that like I said, I don't see a coach that even likes him as a person or even respects him. I
Coaches
really
don't
don't
have to
see it.
like coaches don't
I
have to
didn't say
like
he
the
had to. I
players.
never said he had to. You know what I mean? But when you had, I forgot who I was watching, and they were saying that they didn't like the coach and the coach didn't like them, but they were always professional with one another.
Right. Tom Brady
Couldn't
and
could,
Belichick.
couldn't stand one another. I wasn't talking about them, but
Yeah, but
like
that's a good example. They
so
won 6 Super Bowls,
so
and
so.
they never talked to nothing.
Okay, so cool. You know what I mean? So I can live with that. Like just be professional. I mean, he's still young. I mean, he's not experienced.
Right,
Like those
right.
things matter. Having a coach that believes in you, like a team that believes in you, like those things make a
Yeah,
difference.
but
And I
Stefanski
think,
believes in Dylan Gabriel a lot more than he believes in Shador.
but he wasn't playing. So at that
Right,
point, as a coach, I still want to win this game,
right.
right? So
But
I'm
this is
gonna
the
I'm gonna
first.
temper that. I'm gonna temper how I feel about Dylan Gabriel. I still love
Right,
him. He's still my guy. Hopefully he'll be back next week, and I can put him back in there. But for right now, he's not coming back in.
right.
So I'm gonna put
And
my
this
game face
week,
on, and I'm gonna hide
right.
how I feel about Shador. And I'm gonna
Yes,
make sure that he feels like he's the guy, and we can win this
yes.
game.
I expect this week that Shador he's going to prepare Shador to win against the Raiders.
You know,
His
um,
job depends. At the end of the day, head coach's job is about winning and losing football games.
well,
If Kevin Stefanski can go out here and win with
hmm
Shedeur this week, and then win
hmm
again next week, and win again
hmm
after that, and Shedeur can save his job,
hmm
you can best believe he's gonna continue to put him in position to win. At the end of the day, the man want to save his job.
I don't see that either. Even if
No,
Shador
I don't
never,
see it happening.
even if Shador never played at all this season, that he put Bailey Zapp in there or whatever have you, I just I don't see a coach that really cares to win. I'm looking at like the way that he's always like the offense
Every
working, the
coach
offense
wants to
getting
win.
better.
I can't accept that. Every
You
player
don't
in the
have to accept it,
NFL,
but I
every
don't
player
see
in the
a coach that
NFL, and
wants to
every coach
win.
wants to win. They want to. Now
I don't.
sometimes they want to win their way
Then
because
that to me is not wanting to win.
every player in the NFL and every head coach in the NFL, they all have huge egos. They
And that's
want
what
to
I
win.
see more than
They want
anything.
to win their way. They want to win. Like AJ Brown in Philly, he wants to win. He wants to win his way. He wants to win
Mhm.
while catching 10 balls for 100 yards. But he still wants to win. And sometimes that's how coaches are. Kevin Stefanski wants to win. Well, he wanted to win with Flacco, but since Flacco didn't get it done, he wants to win with Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel is his project.
But you see that he's not winning, and it's not as even like he's progressing every single week. He
He's a
doesn't really
rookie.
put any. He doesn't. I don't. We can't keep saying that though.
Yeah,
Like
because
he's
I
still.
looked at the
He's
numbers.
had. He's had months upon months now of preparation. So am I expecting him to look like the second coming of Josh Allen right now? No, of
He's
course not,
looking better
because
than
he's
Josh
not
Allen off the
Josh.
first 5 games.
He's not.
I
But
mean,
nevertheless,
based on the
he's
numbers,
not
Dylan
as
Gabriel
talented
first
as
five
Josh
games.
Allen.
I
That
said
is
based on the numbers,
blasphemy, and we're not
based
going
on
to
the
do that.
numbers, based on the numbers.
Anybody who's blind will know good and well.
I'm just going
How
off the
many points does that
numbers.
offense score? How many
I'm
points
just
does that
going off
offense
the
score?
numbers.
How many points does that offense score?
Yesterday they scored 9 points.
Even forget yesterday. How many points does the Cleveland Browns offense put
I'm
up
gonna have to
on
go back and
average?
add it
On
up.
average, since he took over,
About 17 a game. They're averaging about 17 a game before yesterday, which is not great, but it's not terrible
it's
either.
not even because
It's
of
better than
Dylan
the
Gabriel.
Raiders.
It's because of the defense. Like he's not the reason that they're losing every single game, but Josh Allen is the reason why the Bills win.
Now I'm talking about Josh Allen's first
There's a
5 games
difference.
when everybody in
There's
the
a
league was
difference.
saying he was trash. And
But
then
when
he
he
went,
first came in the
yes, when
NFL,
he first came in the NFL, people saying
okay,
Josh Allen was
I'm not
trash.
I'm not talking about that now.
But
I'm talking about where we are
that's
right
what I'm
now.
saying. This
But
is what Dylan Gabriel is. He's in his first 5 games. He's gonna need a whole season of development before we can really judge him accurately and fairly. We can't judge a rookie quarterback off 5 games. People in Atlanta, where I'm
well,
living at right now,
that's your opinion. I'm
they're asking
judging.
me, they say, what do you think about Michael Penix? Is he trash? And I'm like, no. Give Michael Penix time to develop. He's shown some good things. He's shown some things that he needs to improve on. But he's
Mm-hmm.
just a rookie. I cannot evaluate Michael Penix after just one season. Because there's been too many quarterbacks that I've seen that have had Peyton Manning. He threw 30 interceptions his rookie season, went 4-12. And then he
The
turned
game was
out
a
to be,
lot different back then, but okay.
I mean, it's not that much different back then. I mean, Peyton Manning was a revolution. He revolutionized the game in a lot of aspects because he came with his own offense. He's done things that no quarterback before either him has done.
Mm-hmm.
My whole point is he's a rookie quarterback. It takes rookie quarterbacks time to develop. You cannot judge any rookie quarterback off 5 games. I've never seen a rookie quarterback and people saying, and that's what I've been asking for. I watched a show yesterday that you asked me to watch. I'm not gonna name the show. You can if you want to, but I watched the show that you watched, and I'm sitting there watching them contradict themselves, saying, "Well, we're gonna have to give Shedeur time to develop. He's gonna need." I'm like, okay, y'all saying this about every quarterback, every rookie quarterback that y'all named yesterday. All these rookie quarterbacks need time to develop. But Dylan Gabriel, he's the only rookie quarterback in the history of the game that doesn't need time to develop.
But
It
no,
makes no sense. I'm
I
just saying,
watch
let's
it.
be fair.
Yeah, but they are fair though, because I watch that show pretty often.
Shady's
And
not fair at all.
he doesn't think that Dylan is good, but in general, like he said more than one time, like we've seen enough of this show. You know what I mean? Like
but we haven't.
push your door in for him. He has.
Yeah,
Like
see,
push
but
your
he's
door
not a.
in.
Who is he?
Look,
He's not a
I'm
quarterback evaluator,
no, no, no. I mean, but people are entitled to their opinions. You know what I mean? Like Rex
right?
Ryan's not a QB evaluator. His thing was defense, but he still gives his opinion. Stephen A. Smith,
Yeah, but at
Greeny,
least he's been a head
Acho
coach
was a
in the league.
backup.
At
Acho was
least
a
Rex,
backup.
at
He
least
still
Rex
got his
Ryan has been
opinion.
a, at least Rex Ryan has been a head coach in the league who had the task of drafting the quarterback high in the first round.
Well, Shady also played with Josh Allen, like he always
Yeah,
said
I
when he
love
first
Shady.
came
Shady
into
was
the
my guy.
league and so on and
I'm an
so forth. Like,
Eagles fan.
so
I think Shady is
yeah.
one of the
So,
best running backs I ever seen. I'm not knocking Shady
hmm
in his playing game, but when he talks sports, like he's not objective a lot of times. He has his emotions. He has his guys he
hmm
like, and he
hmm
just goes in on that aspect. You're not being. My whole point is this. I agree with everything everybody is saying. I like Shedeur. I want to see Shedeur play. I can't wait till he play this week. I think he's gonna ball out, and I think he's gonna take over the starting job. I'm not mad at that. That's what I want to see. But what I
hmm
don't like to see, I'm not pulling against Dylan Gabriel because I'm rooting for Shedeur. I think Dylan Gabriel should have a fair opportunity too, and I believe Cleveland is not going to allow him or Shedeur to get a fair opportunity because they did the dumbest thing in football history by drafting two rookie quarterbacks and put them out there to compete. And that's what you just cannot do. That's why Stefanski is so hell bent on if Dylan Gabriel passes the concussion protocol, he's my starter because he understands that this is stupid. That's why disconnect is coming in.
he don't
Somebody,
want Shador to play. This
of
is the
course he
same premise
doesn't.
that we
Of
said.
course he doesn't.
So that's what I said. It's not about him wanting to win games. It's not about him wanting to keep his
Having
job. It's
Shedeur
more
play
about. It's about.
doesn't mean he doesn't
Um,
want to win
no,
games.
no, but he hasn't even tried another option to
He
see if it
shouldn't
makes a
try.
difference.
He
We've
shouldn't
seen other
try.
coaches. We've seen other coaches do it this season.
No, we
So
have not
like
seen other coaches do
so
what
what?
they've done.
I'm not talking about their whole history. I'm just talking about this season. I've seen other QBs come in and take like last season, for example, they had Captain Kirk up no playing. Obviously, he was coming back from his injury. It started off pretty good and then kind of
Mm-hmm.
tempered off, and it was like, okay, let's see what we got in Michael Penix. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Let's
that's
put him
what
in
you
there
do
and
when
see
you
what we
draft a
got.
quarterback
You know
number
what I
8 in the
mean?
draft.
But I don't think he would have gone. I don't think we would have seen him. Maybe that's like the far end of the season if Captain Kirk was playing better.
You know,
But
and
he wasn't playing good, so they put him in there. And
down here
that
in Atlanta,
Russell Wilson, look,
yeah.
Russell got 3 games, and it was like, look, you out of here. We putting
Yeah, they
Jackson
wasn't
Dart. You know what I
expecting. They
mean?
didn't think they were going to
You
draft
know
Jackson. They didn't know they were going to draft Jackson Dart. They were
who?
signing Russell. The Giants. They didn't know they were going to draft Jackson Dart
The
until
reports
you
came
fell in.
out back in January.
I'm saying
That Brian Dable was trying to get him.
they
That
drafted
he wanted
Jackson
Jackson
Dart
Dart.
at the. I'm saying Jackson Dart got drafted at the back of the first round. Some other team could have drafted Jackson Dart. Pittsburgh could have took Jackson Dart at number 22. New Orleans could have took
Mhm.
Jackson Dart. You have no idea that Jackson Dart is going to go all the way to the back of the first round so
I
that you can
think they
trade
have.
back up to get him.
I think they have more an idea that you give them credit for. But that's neither here nor there. The
My whole
point is
point is
that
this.
that's who he liked. That
Yes.
was no secret. You can tell that those reports came out a while ago. You can tell they had him and Shador took him out to dinner. I think like maybe 1 or 2 nights before the
Right.
actual draft. They didn't really talk to me other people, to me the QB, really besides those two. And then they spoke to them more than one time. So you can kind of get an idea of what
And he still
organizations
gave
think.
Russell
You know what I
Wilson
mean?
every
Um,
opportunity to succeed.
I'm not saying that
But
I'm
the
not saying
fans
that they
came
didn't.
down on after they went 0-3. The fans were like, and we want Jackson Dart, and he was trying to save his job. And they all got fired because he put the
But
kid in
once
harm's
again,
way.
it was still the willingness to try something
Yeah,
different,
because that
and
was
he
Russell Wilson's
and he
not a
got
rookie.
fired on, and he could have put Jameson in. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Jamie's not a
Jameson.
rookie.
I didn't say he was. I said he could have put him in instead of Jackson Dart.
I'm saying it would have
He could
been,
have. He chose not to. I'm not
but
going to sit
uh,
here and excuse Kevin Stefanski
I'm
anymore.
saying a
I
better
saw this man
example.
a few seasons ago
I'm
put in
saying
like 4 or 5 different
I'm
QBs
saying
to still stay afloat and competitive.
you're comparing apples to oranges.
No, we're not. We're
A
not
good
comparing apples to
comparison a
oranges.
good comparison would be they drafted Cam Ward with the number 2 pick or the number 1 pick, and then they drafted Jackson Dart, in the second round, and then Cam Ward
I'm
wasn't
not
playing good in
going by
five.
rounds. I'm going by his history. A few
Okay, what
seasons
I'm saying
ago,
is
he
the
put in like
Giants
4 or 5 different QBs to still stay competitive and still be able to
they
get
didn't
into
stay
the
competitive.
playoffs.
They
He
didn't make the
tried, is my
playoffs.
point. My point is he
Stefanski did
tried.
that.
I just said that. I didn't say that it worked out. I said I
Right.
still saw a willingness to try to still be
Yeah.
competitive. And I don't see that same willingness this season.
The
Dylan Gabriel,
situation
you
is
got him.
different.
No, you keep saying everybody want to win. So if your goal and every coach wants to win, and Kevin Stefanski, his ultimate goal is to win, and you can see
You
that
can't
although I
win with
like Dylan,
Shedeur.
I don't know what you can do with Shador because I haven't seen him until
You just
yesterday,
said
and
he
he
never
wasn't
had
prepared.
reps. Right. So how you
And
gonna
that's
win
my
with him?
point. But that's my point. I don't know what anybody. No, let's flip it around. Let's say Shador went no number 3 and number the third round, and Dylan went in the fifth round.
Okay.
If the
Then
offense is still looking the same, and you have Dylan back
no.
there, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I don't know about you. I'm talking about for Kaja. I'm going to
Right.
say the same thing. I'm not saying it because of Shador. I'm going to be like, put the other young man in. See what you got. Maybe you
Yeah.
got some. Maybe
See.
you don't. And if you don't, then you know that you can move on and end of the season
Yeah.
and get somebody else in the draft. And if we do, then we
Yeah.
got this one, and perhaps we can move some assets and do some trades and figure out how we can get this offensive line up and going and start moving forward to
Yeah.
build for the future.
That's not how
But
football
I,
works. If I
no,
draft Shedeur in the
you're not
third,
going to convince me of that because I saw
I'm
Kevin
just
Stefanski a few
yeah,
seasons
I'm
ago and
telling
I
you
saw
this.
what he did trying to be
But it
competitive.
wasn't
I don't.
the
I'm not rocking with you.
circumstances.
I'm not. No, 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 no. I'm
The
not rocking with you.
circumstances weren't the
I'm
same.
not
He didn't
rocking
have
with the
rookie
excuses.
quarterbacks.
No, I'm not
I'm
rocking with
saying
the
this:
excuses.
if Shadeur
You
got
excusing
drafted in,
Kevin Stefanski because you
no,
want
I'm
to
not.
believe
I'm
that he's trying to
I
do the
don't.
right thing
Kevin
and so on and
Stefanski's
so
gonna get
forth.
fired. I'm
No,
not
no, I'm
excusing
not believing
everybody.
it. I'm
I'm
not
saying
believing
this:
it.
if Shadeur gets drafted in the third round and Dylan
Hmm.
gets drafted in the fifth round, Shadeur needs to have all the reps. I don't want to see Dylan Gabriel get in the game. I only want to see Shadeur develop at that point. And then I
Hmm.
would be saying, why in the hell did they draft Dylan Gabriel
Hmm.
after you draft Shadeur? That makes
Hmm.
no sense. To
Hmm.
draft two, I've never seen
But they
a
already
team.
did it though. I
I
hate to keep
know.
going back in the past. It already
And that's my
happened.
point. And
So
my whole
what's the
point
future
is
going
the
forward? What
future
is the
going
future
forward.
going
The
forward?
future going forward is everybody gets
Do
fired.
do you? But they haven't yet though. So
Yeah,
we'll
but
see
they
what
will
happens in the
though.
end. Okay, well until then, right now they still have their jobs.
Yeah,
So
they're gonna
until
get fired.
so look, if they do, I'm not wishing anybody get fired, but if they do, then they do. You know what I mean? I don't
They
like I said.
will.
I'm looking at the situation where it is right now. I'm the kind of person that looks at where you are now and how you can fix something or at least
There's
try to fix it going
there's no
forward.
fixing this. It's already broken.
I don't. I'm just always a willingness to try.
You
Always,
can try whatever you want to try. If it's already broke, you
always.
ain't gonna fix it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. At the end of the season, if Jimmy Haslam doesn't fire everybody in that organization, then he's truly running a sham organization. And he's done it before with Pilot. That's why he's not the
Hmm.
best owner of businesses and
Hmm.
franchises. But if he
Hmm.
doesn't fire everybody who's
Hmm.
involved in this debacle that they have in Cleveland right now, then that
Hmm.
means the owner doesn't want to win. That's why I keep telling you the game is played at the top. What we watch on the field is entertainment. We can talk about Shedeur and Dylan and Miles Garrett and this receiving. We can do that all day. That's
Hmm.
entertainment. The game is played at the top. And if Jimmy Haslam doesn't fire everybody who has anything to do, we already seen one of the VPs. He left the team last week and he went to do the Colorado Rockies because he
Hmm.
was like, I don't even want to be a part of this no more. I'm out. Deuces.
Hmm.
That's because he knows what everybody else who's paying attention to this knows. This situation is broken. Everybody in that front office is subject to lose their jobs at the end of the season. Let me go get in where I fit in, where I can get me another job right quick. Because I
Hmm.
already know this ship is going to sink at the end of the season. I'm out. Deuces. And that's where, like, the writing's on the wall. It's all on the wall. Whether you refuse to see it or not, it's over with in
If
Cleveland. It
if
can't be
worse, if
fixed.
Shador happens to come in and plays really great against the Raiders, and let's say he buys himself another week or two, and he gets a little bit better and better, and the offense as
Right.
a whole starts playing better,
Right.
and that continues on the rest of the season. Or Shador doesn't do good. Let's say Dylan Gabriel comes back, from being concussed. I wish him a speedy recovery, and he comes back and the offense starts looking a little bit better. that may help save Kevin Stefanski's job. But I really feel like if they just continue to not win any games at all, there's nothing, no kind of spark, no nothing whatsoever, and it just kind of stays flat like this, then yeah, maybe everybody will get fired, you know? But for me, I don't like to look ahead, no too far. I don't like to look too far in the past. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Right.
the young man's there already. It is what it is. He's there. Okay, you know, you have Dylan, and so like you have two rookie QBs. What's the best strategy to figuring out if we have our franchise QB here in this building? Because we need to know that going forward, so
Right.
that we
But you
can know
say
if we need to
we.
build around him. When I say we, I mean organization.
No, I'm saying
When I
as an
say we, you know what
organization.
I mean? Yeah,
I'm saying I know you saying we as an organization meaning
yeah,
you mean multiple people. You
yeah. I
mean
mean, yeah, and this,
Stefanski,
yeah.
you mean the general manager, you mean
Hmm.
the owner, you mean the vice president of football operation. You saying
Everybody
all these,
involved in them
yeah,
conversations.
and
Yeah.
all those guys are not on the same page, and that's the problem.
I
It's
don't
a
know.
set up,
Honestly, I don't know what's going on in that building, honestly
right.
speaking. But
But I can tell you this.
I don't believe there's no conversations being had. I don't believe there's no conversations that have been had. I don't think Kevin Stefanski is just this, I'm going along with it. I don't have any say coach at
No,
all. I don't believe
well,
that
he
either.
doesn't have much say. He's just the
I
head
don't
coach.
believe that. I don't
But I'm
believe
saying
that.
he has some say because he's a coach, but he doesn't pick the players. That's on Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry picks the player.
I
But
do believe that he's a part of that. He's very much involved in that
right, and
conversation. I
they
don't
have
believe
conversations.
Andrew's
Yeah,
like,
I'm
yeah, I don't
saying
believe
they
Andrew's
have
like, okay, I'm bringing him
conversations.
here, and
I'm
there's no kind
saying,
of like,
of
there's no
course,
nothing, no kind of
yes,
conversation. I
of
don't believe
course
that.
they have conversations. But Kevin Stefanski's, when it comes to player personnel, his voice doesn't outweigh Andrew Berry's.
No, I didn't say I outweighed it,
No,
but
but
I don't believe that
yeah,
his.
he
I don't
has a
believe
say
that he's
so.
just like, okay,
No, no,
whatever you
no,
think.
no, because
I don't believe that.
he's a two-time NFL coach of the year. He has some say so. But if he
I
says
think he
I
has
don't,
more than you give him
yes,
credit for.
but I'm saying if he says I don't want Shedeur, and then Andrew Berry like, yeah, I want him, and the owner wants him, then guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna get Shedeur, regardless of what Kevin Stefanski win and voiced or not. He doesn't get
Hmm.
the final say so. That just Belichick was a general manager
Hmm.
and a head coach. He picked the parallels and coached them. My whole
Hmm.
point is successful organizations are always on the same page at the top. You saw in New England when Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft, when they start not being on the same page,
Hmm.
Robert Kraft, he acquiesced to Bill
Hmm.
Belichick demands. All
Hmm.
right, fine. We're going to get rid of Tom Brady. The first time, because Belichick wanted to get rid of Tom Brady,
Hmm.
2 years before they got rid of him. Tom Brady went up to Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft sided with Tom Brady. He made the decision, we're keeping Tom Brady. After
Hmm.
that 2 years, they went back to the office. Robert Kraft went to Tom Brady. He said, I got to give
Hmm.
way to Belichick this time. We're going to get rid of you. You go to Tampa Bay. But he told Belichick, you got 3 years to get it right. If you don't get it right, that's it. Belichick didn't get it right. You got to go. That's how it goes because successful franchises are on the same page throughout the building because the game is played at the top. So the fact that Cleveland Browns are not on the same page, they're never going to be successful that way. That's why Haslam just needs to go ahead and clear house and get a general manager and a head coach who are going to work in tandem. And that way you can have an opportunity to build a successful franchise. You have no
I mean,
opportunity the way it's being run right now.
I mean, who's to say they're not on the same page at all? You never know.
Well,
I mean,
come
I
on,
don't
we
know
know they're
what the
not on the same
overall.
page. Come on now,
I
stop.
don't
Now, you
put
know they're not on.
I don't put nothing past
If you
nobody at
just
all in
told
this
me,
world. I said, look, there's two sides to every story. You never know. I always operate by that. I never pretend there's no possibility that this can be, you
well,
know, something else that's happening. You know what I mean? Like we don't know what the ultimate plan for is Shedeur. We don't know if they tried to move him when they could have traded him, if they didn't try at
yeah,
all. Like we don't know those things. You know, we assume that they didn't, but we really don't know if they tried or whatever have you. It may come out later on, it may come out next
it's
year,
gonna
but we
come
don't
out.
know. You know what I mean? Right now, as of right now, it hasn't. You know, so that's what I'm gonna
Yeah,
go by.
but you can do basic
You know,
math. I believe
you
you can do
know,
basic math.
they
And
could
basic math
they could
says
have the
two plus one doesn't equal four.
exactly. But the fact that he is there, you know what I mean,
Right,
says that there's something else going on, like Rex
right.
Ryan said. Now, whatever that
That's what
something
I just
is,
said. They're not
I
on the
don't
same
know.
page. That's what's going
No,
on.
no, I'm not. No, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. When I say something else is going on, they could very much have a plan, the reason why they brought Shedeur in that building. It may not have ever been to play football on that team. We really don't know at this point. You know,
So you're saying it's a
hopefully.
possibility that they're all on the same page. They all wanted Dylan Gabriel to come in and give him all the reps, and they was waiting for Dylan Gabriel to get hurt so they can finally put in Shedeur. Maybe Dylan Gabriel didn't even really have a
Hmm.
concussion. Maybe
Hmm.
they just said he got a
No, I'm
concussion
not.
at
Well,
halftime. So
we saw him put down and hit his head pretty hard. You know, so I do believe that he's concussed. But there are a million reasons why. For one, you know what I mean, jersey sales. Nobody's really buying Dylan Gabriel's jersey.
it don't
Like
matter.
we it may not matter to you,
It
but it
don't
may be
matter to
something that
nobody.
they're looking at. They
It don't
may be
matter.
looking at that. You can't say they're not because you're not in that office, you're not in that
I'm saying
building.
I don't have to
You
be in the
don't know what
office.
conversations are being had within those
That's my
walls. You
point
don't.
exactly. You're right.
And yeah,
That's
exactly.
why I
So I'm
know.
not going
That's
to
why I know that
say
there's a
it's not a
disconnect.
possibility. So
That's
I'm
why I
not
know
going
there's a
to say it's
disconnect.
not a possibility. If they said, you know
Jersey
what, if
sales
we
doesn't affect whether a team wants to win or lose.
I didn't
You
say
can
anything
sell out
about
just
them wanting
because
to win or lose. That's not what I said. You're
I
putting
can
words
tell
in my
you right
mouth.
now.
What I said was they could be looking at the fact that this is a great marketing tool. They could be.
Yeah.
We have some great jersey sales. We might keep him here. We might wait till later on because if we move him now, it's going to be a whole shitstorm in the media about them bringing Shador in the fifth round and then trading him later on. Why did you get him? What happened behind closed doors? What's really going on? This look, I don't put nothing past nobody in this world
Yeah.
at
Nobody
all.
sold more jerseys than Mike Vick, and the Falcons got rid of him. And the fans left. Fans stopped coming to the game because
Hmm.
nobody wanted them to get rid of Mike Vick. Well, no,
Hmm.
I say it was split because a lot of white folks were mad at Mike Vick. All the
Hmm.
black folks was like, no, we want to keep Mike Vick. When they got
Hmm.
rid of Mike Vick jerseys still sold. They still selling to
Hmm.
this day. You can't go to a Falcon game and not see a whole bunch of Mike Vick jerseys. But when
Hmm.
Mike Vick got put out of the team, people stopped going to the game. They were blacking out the games. Nobody wanted to
Hmm.
go to the game no more because they want to keep Mike Vick. At the end of the day, the NFL jersey sales, that's fine. We want to sell jerseys. We want to make every little dollar we can. But we'll be okay. Kaepernick sold a whole bunch of jerseys after they kicked him out the league.
Hmm.
Oh, well, okay, that's fine. We'll take that little money. He said, Shedeur, if they move on from Shedeur, he's still going to sell jerseys. Johnny Manziel
Hmm.
still selling jerseys.
Hmm.
Jersey sales isn't a big factor. It's
I didn't
about
say it
winning
wasn't a
football
factor. I
games.
said it could be a contributing factor. That's what I
Okay.
said. I didn't say it was a big factor. I said it was determined. I said it could be contributing. It could be a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of moving parts to this train that we don't know about. But I'm not going to
Yeah.
sit here and pretend like there's no other possibilities that they still have them in that building that we're unaware of or unwilling to see.
Right. That's why we gotta wait till the story to drop, and we're not gonna get that to the end of the season or maybe even the year after. After
And then
everybody
let's
was
hope that the
fired.
story that's dropping is actually a true story. You know what I
What
mean? Because
story is that?
you can put out whatever you want in the media at the same time. It doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
No, I'm saying once everybody is fired and they have the freedom to
Hmm.
talk, they're gonna talk. They're gonna talk to the reporters. But right now,
We'll
everybody
see.
the fire is too hot. So that's why even in New England, we didn't hear about the Belichick and the Tom Brady and the Robert Kraft stuff until it was over with. Then we were like,
Hmm.
wow, this been happening the whole time. And we're like,
Hmm.
yeah, this is why they're getting rid of
Hmm.
Tom Brady. This is why they're breaking up. I'm like, wow, I
Hmm.
didn't even know all that. I didn't even know Tom Brady and Belichick didn't have a real relationship. I didn't even know they didn't like each other.
Hmm. So yeah, we'll be to be continued, you guys. We shall see how this whole thing plays out in the future. I look forward to seeing it. But I do believe whether it's in with Cleveland or not, I do believe Shador will get an opportunity somewhere, a real
He will.
opportunity.
He will.
You know, I
It's
said
just
that
not.
from the
He
beginning.
he
So,
like I've been saying. I don't even want him to be in Cleveland because I know what kind of dumpster fire that is.
hmm.
Like I want him to be with a real organization where he has a chance to develop and be the quarterback I believe he
Hmm.
can be.
Hmm.
Cleveland is bad land.
Hmm.
I seen what happened to Deshaun Watson once he got to Cleveland. I saw what
I
happened to
don't. I
Baker
don't think.
Mayfield when he got to Cleveland.
I'm
Like
not going to speak about Baker, but I don't think everything that happened with Deshaun was solely on, the organization and the coach. And I feel like a lot of Deshaun Watson's fall was a lot of his personal stuff off of the field that really got like the better of him. And then then you had the injuries, you know what I mean? But all
right.
those cases, women coming forward, I mean, it's distracting. You know what I mean? Like they're talking about it every time, more about that than your actual play. You know, no, that's a big thing. You know what I mean? Something like that. And I think it's like what 25 plus women, 30 women at one point. Talking about these
Yeah, but
allegations
that
and
was
so on
in
and
his
so forth. So
past. They didn't put any weapons. They didn't give Deshaun any weapons around him to succeed.
so you don't think that what was going on with him off the field at all had anything to do with his play, aside from the weapons? I'm not saying that was all of it. You don't think that was a contributing factor at all to his lack of
Not
success?
to the
No.
degree that he went from being the best, the number one or two best quarterbacks in all of the NFL to being the worst quarterback in the
And you don't
NFL.
think that had anything to do with it at all? It was just the weapons around him or lack thereof.
I don't think that his past, because he had got behind that, he had already paid them women. He had already just signed a new contract. He had moved to a whole other city, 2,000
They were
miles
still
away.
talking about that when he
Yeah,
was
they
in
can.
Cleveland. It was
Yeah,
all
they
over
can.
first take, all over get up,
Yeah,
more than his sorry play. You
yeah.
don't
But
think that affected him at all
now,
mentally?
if you tell me that Deshaun Watson was paying attention to the media, then I'll say, you know what, he might have got caught up in the loop. But as
He's
a
a human
professional,
being. You think that he didn't see any of that or hear it?
I'm saying as a professional NFL quarterback, you got to have your blockers on. You can't be paying
Okay,
attention to what's
okay,
going on in the media.
okay, okay.
That's what the great quarterbacks do. They don't pay attention to what's going on in the media. They can care
people are
less what
still
people.
people are still people.
Yeah, you can be
When
people.
we live in a world where social media is huge, and I look, I heard more about Shedeur. I heard more about Deshaun Watson and his massage allegations and situations
Right.
than I heard about him being a sorry player. Really, really and truly, that was always the conversation. Well, somebody else came forward. This person came forward. Should no, Deshaun did this. He paid that, and so on. Like I'm like, we're gonna keep talking about this. If that's the case, then he don't need to be in the NFL right now. Like suspend him until you figure it out. Because I'm tired of hearing about it at this point and figure out what you're gonna do. But we can sit here and pretend like, okay, you're a professional player, you're paid millions to just focus on the game. But people, they're still human beings. That to me is
Again,
unrealistic. They have emotions. They still have ears. You got
yes.
family that talks. You got friends
Right.
that's talking to you about it. Like, what we
You're
saying
right.
here?
I'm saying that if you are telling me that Deshaun Watson got caught up in the media entertainment, then yes, you're right. You make a great point. That means he's not what I thought he was, which was a professional quarterback who was serious about being great. Because the great quarterbacks don't care about what's going on outside of that locker room.
Those are pretty serious allegations when you have 20 plus women. We're not talking
Okay,
about just like one little small thing. You go on the paternity court or child support drama. Like those things were pretty serious. Like,
right.
what are we talking about here?
Okay,
Professional or not? Come on now. Like, really?
I
You
seen
you
Ben
you.
Roethlisberger. I seen Ben Roethlisberger beat two rape charges. They talked about they suspended him. All they was talking
Mhm.
about was Ben Roethlisberger was a rapist. He went out and won the Super Bowl.
And
Can
social
you
media was
can
not the
can,
same way it
can
was
you put the
then than
block?
how it is
Well,
now.
I mean, they still had Twitter. They still had Facebook. He came up and it ain't like Ben Roethlisberger played back in the days. Roethlisberger
Mhm.
played an all time with social media. That's still with social media. And
Mhm.
Roethlisberger, you got to be a professional. You got to block that out, and you got to go out there and play football. Yeah, people gonna say, yeah, man, they talk about your rapists, and yeah, oh, okay, whatever. I got a responsibility to the Pittsburgh Steelers to be the best quarterback that I can be. Whatever they say out there, they ain't got nothing to do with me.
Mhm.
That's how it goes.
I don't believe in that. Outside of you getting paid 300 plus million, 400 plus million, your first at
Maybe
first
that was the pressure. Maybe
you're a
that
human.
was the pressure he
Even if
had.
let's say that that could be part of it as well.
Yeah,
230 million guarantee. At the time the largest amount. You know what I mean? But I do believe that had a part to do with it. Not the only part, obviously. I'm not saying that was solely the only reason why he wasn't successful in Cleveland. A lot of moving parts. But I do believe I don't like when we act as if because these players get paid millions and they live like this crazy 1% lifestyle that they're not still human beings. When you look at Damian Lillard and how he was in Portland, and then when he went to Milwaukee, he was not the same person. Forget player,
yes,
it's about the person. And then when
right,
everything happened, he went back to Portland. There was a whole different person again. Like you
yeah,
could tell, like he was like, oh my god, like I'm happy to be home. Like he just looked like he felt like so, I don't
He
know
didn't
what's
want
the
to be
word,
in Milwaukee.
revived. I'm just saying, but
Yeah,
you would think that okay, be professional. You got paid all this money, and he still did his job. It wasn't like he came and he didn't do his job or didn't show up to the best of his ability because that he still did. But you could still, he's still a person. I think, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, okay, like you could see, like him being there had an effect on him emotionally. You could see it, you know what I mean? Going through a
yeah,
divorce, everything else he was going through,
yeah.
because
See,
these are still these are still
Dame
real
didn't
life
want to leave.
things.
Dame didn't want to leave Portland. When he showed up to Milwaukee that first day they showed him come out there playing with his two kids,
Hmm.
he looked so down and depressed, like, man, I don't want to be here in Milwaukee. They traded me. I didn't want to be here. You know, that's
And
what they did to
I'm just saying
him.
that just goes that we have to,
Deshaun
for
wanted to
me,
get out of Houston.
we have to humanize these players. They just because
Right.
they make millions, they're still human beings with emotions.
Yeah, they
Like they
are.
still go through the same things that we go through. It's just in the public eye on a much grander scale where everybody
Right.
giving their opinions about it. But they're still people.
They are people. But like I said, when Deshaun asked for a trade out of Houston before any of
Hmm.
the Messiah stuff came out,
Hmm.
Deshaun Watson told them folks, I don't want to be in Houston no more because he
Hmm.
had heard the owner say some stuff that seemed like it was love races or whatnot, and he was like,
Hmm.
I don't want to be in Houston no more anymore. Trade me. I want out of Houston. I won't play
Hmm.
no more. And then that's when they conjured up this whole Messiah.
Hmm.
See, the whole thing was a conspiracy, but that's neither here nor there.
Hmm.
When he got to Cleveland, he was happy to be out of Houston. They made him the highest paid player in NFL history. He was happy to be in Cleveland. Now, don't get me wrong, you might be right. He might have paid attention to all that other stuff on the outside. And I'm telling you, if he did that, which is possible because he's human, if he did that, he did himself a disservice because great quarterbacks find a way to not pay attention to all that stuff on the outside. And that's what I'm saying. So, he turned out not to be a great quarterback. And
Yeah.
he set the franchise back 10, maybe 15 years to
Well,
the point where they got this
we're gonna agree to dis
debacle right now. With
we're
him
gonna
still
agree disagree.
right, he's still on the franchise. They talking about Deshaun Watson could come back in a few weeks. Like when, like that's the dumbest thing. Like what are these folks doing? Like this not everybody. Cause these folks
Hmm.
have no clue on how to run a
Hmm.
football team. Clearly,
Well, the history speaks for itself. But moving on, you guys, we've been on here for a little while now. Um, Eagles obviously did defeat the Lions. Final score was 16-9, but there was a very, very controversial call late in the game. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like that affected
hey
the outcome
man,
at all?
I don't think it'll fit that. Now I will say this: I don't think the call was a good call.
I don't like it either.
I
Hmm.
didn't, I didn't, I didn't say I didn't like the call. I just said I didn't think it was a good call.
Hmm. So okay,
But
so you want to go with we're gonna go with semantics. Okay, I decided I didn't like. I think it was good. So how do you feel
right,
about it?
I'm saying I'm pulling for the Eagles, so I'm like,
Hmm.
all right, yeah,
Nobody,
we
no,
are
no,
in.
nobody is aside. You know what I mean?
But
Like being
but
objective.
but me being objective, I don't think it was a good call. But even if they don't make the call, I
Hmm.
still think the Eagles win that football game with the exact same score because
Hmm.
Detroit was struggling on offense all day, and I've told you a couple times throughout the past couple weeks on this show.
Hmm.
Right, you ought to be taking notes when I be telling you stuff because it be true. Jared
Hmm.
Goff, when you take out the threat of the running game and
Hmm.
him throwing play action when you know he's going to pass the ball, he
Hmm.
struggles.
Hmm.
He doesn't play well under them type of circumstances. He plays well when Singletary and Gibbs, Sonic and Boom are running the lights out the ball. Then he runs play action. Then he
Hmm.
throws it over the top to Jameson Williams. St. Ryan's open. Laporta, who's out, who's on injured reserve, he wasn't there yesterday. He's open. He's catching passes. That's when Jared Goff thrives. But when they get into situations where they're down and you know that Jared Goff has to drop back and pass, he's a terrible quarterback at that point.
Hmm.
And so yesterday it was a situation where the threat of the running game was not there for the Detroit Lions. And it came down to where they know that Jared Goff has to throw the ball, and Brandon Graham and Jalen Carter and Phillips and all those guys, they was in the backfield out every snap. And there was nothing Jared Goff could do. I mean, he's throwing the ball in the dirt. He's throwing the ball in the stands. He's throwing the ball over the head of receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's just laying on the field. So, again, when he's in that type of situation, he's not the best quarterback in the league.
I don't know. I don't think going by the way the game, the whole entire game, I don't think that they would have won that game, even if that call wasn't made. But I wish that it wasn't made because to me it really was a silly call. I'm like, really, we're gonna call that at this point in time in the game? And it was like very minimal contact to me. Like I didn't agree with the call whatsoever. But the ref stood by it. He made a statement, and stood by his decision. Okay, fine, whatever. Um, but you never know. Like there's always a chance that something can happen. Do I
Yeah,
think that they would have won the game? I don't think so because they hadn't had any success pretty much the whole entire game.
right.
But you never know because it was still a very close game. It wasn't like it was without, far, beyond, the realm of, within reach that they could have, made some magic happen because he does have a lot of, great weapons, on the offense. But ultimately, when it comes to Jared Goff, like I said before, I'm like, I don't know what you're gonna get. We saw him in the playoffs, last season, and obviously they were missing a lot of weapons then, a lot of their key players, so you gotta factor that in because that does make a difference. But he was throwing crazy interceptions then, in that game.
Mm-hmm.
It was a complete mess. But like I said, I don't know. No, the Lions, their defense is a lot better than what I expect them to be. Without Aaron Glenn, and the offense still looks great because they have so many weapons on that offense. Even without Ben there, but it'll be interesting to see what happens in the playoffs. I do expect them to still get there. Because they are still very much a good team, and Jared Goff just has to manage. He doesn't have to put his cape on and save the game. Because there's a well coached team, defense, offense, everything is going good for him. He just has to me like just take care of the ball. Like just
Yeah.
take care of the ball. Just take care of
Well,
the ball. Don't
I,
don't do anything stupid. Like just take care of the ball.
I'll say two things. One, when it comes to that call, like you said, I think the referees are also human. I think it was cold, and they were ready to get out that cold, and so they was like, let's end this pass
That could be
interference.
too. Hmm.
Let's go ahead and end this game. That's one. But
Hmm.
also, I got to put some responsibility on this game on the head coach Darren Campbell. He coached a
Hmm.
terrible game last night. Like,
You didn't agree with him always going for it.
yes,
So he should have
under
get
the
some
conditions that we're playing under, it's cold, it's snowy.
get some field goals in there.
Take the points.
Hmm.
This is gonna be a defensive struggle. This is
Hmm.
not gonna be a high scoring game. Not under the conditions that they're playing. It was a little windy.
Hmm.
It's hard to throw the ball under those conditions. Take the points. Stop going for it on fourth down every time
Hmm.
when you have an opportunity to put points on the board. I mean, this guy, I can't believe the
That's his
audacity.
thing though. Like
I
he
know it's your
don't.
thing, and
Yeah, he don't.
it's
Yeah,
cost you in the biggest moments.
it
And
has. I agree with that. Yeah.
this is what you cannot have. At some
Hmm.
point, you gotta dial it back a little bit. I mean, he don't give a damn. It can be 4th and 6. It can be 4th and 8. He's just
Hmm.
going for it. I'm
He
like,
does. Yeah.
no, Dan, don't go for it. Take the 3 right here because this is what I understand. I understand two things. One, the conditions are
Hmm.
not offensive friendly conditions. And two, Jalen Hurts has been struggling. You got a wide receiver on the Philadelphia Eagles who had to go talk to the owner because he doesn't like the way the offense is being run. So the
Hmm.
offense is struggling. So put all the points you can on the board and the force the Philadelphia Eagles to go out there and score on you. Their defense is playing great. And
Hmm.
it would help if you pin them back sometimes. You kick the field goal or you punt the ball and you make them have to
Hmm.
drive 90, 95 yards up the field. Well, you
Hmm.
giving them good field position every time because you want to go for it in those type of conditions. Well, you hurt your ball club. You put
Hmm.
your quarterback in the position where now he has to play behind late in the game. And that's not his strength. If
at
I know
all.
from watching football that's not his strength, I know Dan Campbell knows that's not his strength. So why did you put your quarterback in that situation?
I
Well,
think it goes back to
that's
what you're
not good
saying.
coaching.
I think it goes back to what you said before. Like coaches, they want to win their way, with who they want, how they want, and
Right,
because Dan Campbell is such a all or nothing, kind of guy, risk
right,
taker. He don't back down, like no matter what, we going we gonna down this mountain, do what we
right.
do best, and whatever happens, happens.
But I
It's
do
like
believe he wants to win.
yeah,
I
that's
just
what I was gonna
believe
say. That's what I
his
was gonna say.
ego got the best of him.
I do believe that that's just who he is. Like that's just like within like his DNA. Like it's within the team, within the organization. Like they're gonna die trying. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like it may be the dumbest decision that we may think that he ever made as a coach, but if it's true to their identity and true for him and how he feels he should coach his team, that's what he's gonna go by. And we love him for it. Sometimes like, man, what a great look at how ballsy was that choice. You know what I mean? Look at Dan Campbell being so risky and bold and daring and yada yada. And then at the same time when he does that and doesn't work out, it's like, maybe he should have did that there.
yeah, I
It's
like it.
always that.
Right, I like it when it makes sense. Yesterday,
Hmm.
it didn't make sense. It doesn't
Hmm.
make sense all the time. So sometimes it makes sense. Yesterday, it made no sense. The
Hmm.
conditions did not allow for you to play that style of football. When you
Hmm.
play in Detroit and you play in that dome and everything is, the
And
temperature
they
is
and
regulated.
that too, they're used to being
Right,
inside the dome as well. Yeah.
right. But you're not in the dome.
Yeah.
Play football the way you need to play on the road in those conditions to win. Because guess what? You're 6-4. There's a good chance you're not going to win the division. You might make the wild card, and guess what's going to have to happen? You're going to have to go on the road somewhere and beat somebody. You might have
Hmm.
to go to Philly. You might have to go to San Francisco.
Well, they
You,
say your
you,
defense travels.
you might have to go to Green Bay. Yeah, your defense travel, but your offense don't travel when it's cold, snowing, and you leaving points on the field because you want to win your way. No,
They're
win the
not as
game the
bad
way
as
you need to.
Miami though in the cold weather. I'll give them that
No,
much.
they're not as bad as Miami, but if you going for it on fourth down every time, and then
Hmm.
you got your quarterback in a position where he's on the road in the cold,
Hmm.
playing under the conditions, and he has to play from behind, you're not gonna win that game.
Hmm.
And it's gonna cost
Uh,
you again because everybody keeps picking Detroit every year to finally
hmm.
get it done because we see that the talent that they have on that roster, they
Yeah,
stacked up.
they
And
are.
so
Hmm.
they should be expected to win it all. But I don't believe in Detroit winning it all because even though I like Dan Campbell and I love the rah-rah he has in him, the fire he has in him, I
Hmm.
don't believe in Dan Campbell's coaching ability when the games matter because he has to win his way all the time.
I think he'll learn. Um, I think obviously hindsight's always 2020. I do think that he'll learn. You know what? I don't always have to win this way. I can trust my team. Trust my kicker and so on and so forth. To figure out a different way so that we can win games. But sometimes that comes with experience. Sometimes you got to get there and lose and then fight to get back and like kind of go through that adversity to kind of learn. Okay, I've been here before. It didn't work out. Let me relax, take a step back, and not be so hell bent on doing it this one way. Being okay with doing it a different way and still winning games. So we'll see.
Right.
They have, like you said, they're still a very well coached team. I like their defensive coordinator. I like, obviously Hudson is back. He wasn't there last season because he was out. Um, Jerry Goff to me, that to me is the I'm not sure. But we shall see though. I do expect them to get to the playoffs, and we'll see what happens. Like I say, you get in, you can win. You know,
Yeah,
you just got to get there first.
I agree. I mean, I think I look at it, looking at the schedule, the next three games are at home, and I expect them to win at least two out of these next three because you got the Giants next week. That's a win. You got Green
Should
Bay coming into your house, and you can win that game. That's on Thanksgiving. Actually, they'll be
it depends on what
playing.
defense shows up for the for Green Bay and
Right,
what
and it
Jordan Love
also
shows up. Yeah.
right. That's what I'm saying. They can win that game. They can lose that game. Then you
Uh
got
huh.
the Cowboys at home. I expect them to win that game. But then you got to go on the road and you got to play the Rams. That's going to be a tough game. Then you
That
got
is
the
yeah.
Steelers at home. That can be another tough game. You can win that game. But you
And
finish
defense.
up
Yeah.
with Minnesota on the road and you got the Bears on the road. don't let it have to come down to your playoff by playing the Bears in those conditions on the road in Chicago. Not the way you coach it. You gonna end up getting beat. But I think just looking at that schedule, I think they should make the playoffs. They should get a wild
Yeah,
card at least.
they should. We'll have to see what happens. But all right, so going to, you mentioned this other team just now. So Aaron Rodgers, I haven't seen the update unless he's gonna get an MRI. He did break like a bone in his wrist.
Yeah,
I haven't seen like what the actual have you seen what the actual like decision was?
I
I
heard
I, I
it.
don't think he's gonna play this weekend. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I was hearing that he had some broken bones in his wrist, and he's supposed to be out maybe 2 to 3 weeks. So he's
That could be their
going.
season right there.
He's going on. No,
Like,
I don't think so. I don't think so. I like Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph is an adequate backup. He can
mhm,
come in if you play in 3 games. I think Mason Rudolph can win 2 games. He can go 2-1. If you play 4 games, he'll go 2-2. Um, the man, he's a veteran. He's been in the league a while. He's been
mhm,
a starting quarterback for some teams before. Um,
mhm.
I just think Mason. I think Aaron Rodgers isn't necessarily the reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers have been winning.
I can agree with
They
that.
they, they win mostly because they're a well coached football team and their defenses definitely as of late have been really good. And I believe the defense travels. They'll be playing Chicago this
Mhm,
week. They can beat Caleb Williams. Their defense, they can beat. Now they're gonna struggle, but they got Buffalo at home. That could be a game where they struggle in because I don't know if Mason Rudolph will be able to put enough points up, but it all depends on the defense. Then you got Baltimore. That can be another game. But then I think you
mhm,
can beat the Dolphins. So in the next 4 games, there are easily 2 beatable teams in Chicago and Miami. And you might get sneaker win against either the Ravens or the Bills. So I think Mason Rudolph is a serviceable
mhm.
quarterback and the way their defense plays, I'm confident in Mason Rudolph's ability to win football games. Considering Aaron Rodgers, this is not like Aaron Rodgers of old, where he's an
Mhm.
MVP type caliber player. He's a game manager, and Mason Rudolph can manage a game.
I mean, between the two of them, even at this stage now. I'm not even going back to like obviously his day where he was doing all his his MVP caliber things. I do still trust Aaron Rodgers more than Mr. Rudolph. With him, to know how many games he's missing. The defense to me, like the past 2 3 weeks now, they've played a lot better.
Yeah, they play
But
lights out.
prior to that, it was there was something going on. I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, I don't know if Mason is talented enough. If the defense doesn't show up, or they're not able to play the way that we are accustomed to the Steelers defense playing, then what happens? There's been some inconsistencies from the defense to me this season. So if the defense is doing what they've done, what we know that they can do, what they did the past couple of games, then yeah, they very
right.
much have a chance.
Well,
But if TJ, like he did last season, he goes, well, MIA, and it's like, well, what happened? Where he at? Where'd they go? I don't know. That has nothing to do with Mike Tomlin. I'm talking
yeah,
about
I'm
the defense.
not. I'm not worried about it because you're
I'm not
correct.
worried. I just don't trust it.
When the Pittsburgh Steelers got completely healthy, when they finally had everybody back, and we expected them to be lights out, they played horrible as a defense. But after that, they seemed to all got on the right page
Hmm.
because the Colts, they did uh they did a number on the Colts. The Bengals just yesterday, we saw what Joe Flacco had been doing. He was 450 yards, 500 yards.
I'm
He
not gonna.
only
I can't. I'm not. I can't go by the Bengals. I can't.
Yeah, but the Bengals been
And
putting up points. They've been one of the best
they ha- they
offenses in
ha-
the league with Joe
I,
Flacco. He
they
throwing
haven't been
500
winning, but
yards.
he has been putting up some points. I'll give you that much.
Right, and they kept them to 12 points yesterday. That was huge. I mean, so
I mean the defense
I'm
isn't really good. over there.
Before the season started, when they were looking for a starting quarterback, and
Hmm.
you kept hearing rumors that Aaron Rodgers is going to sign with the Steelers, and they just waiting.
Hmm.
I was like, why we waiting for Aaron Rodgers for? I'm like, forget waiting for Aaron Rodgers. I was like, we got Mason Rudolph on the roster. Let's run
Hmm.
Mason Rudolph and let's draft a quarterback in the draft. If Shedeur falls down to 22, let's take
Hmm.
Shedeur at 22. Let him sit behind Mason Rudolph and develop. And let's run with that. I was totally fine with it. I was confident that they could
Hmm.
win with Mason Rudolph before they even signed Aaron Rodgers. Okay,
Hmm.
when they signed Aaron Rodgers, it's like, okay, we got Aaron Rodgers. That's fine too. We can win with
Hmm.
him too. He's a veteran quarterback. Hopefully, he's totally healed from that Achilles injury that he had suffered 2 years ago. Maybe he'll be a little bit better. All he got to make is 2, 3 plays a game. The defense is
Hmm.
going to be good. Mike Tomlin is your head coach. You're going to win football games. You're going to make the playoffs. And if you make the playoffs, you have a chance to win. So I'm okay with whoever they got at quarterback as long as they don't have to play Will Howard. Now, you got to throw Will Howard in. The rookie who they did end up drafting in the second or third round. Now I got a problem because now you got to develop Will Howard. He's not going to be
Hmm.
ready to play right off the bat. I think Will Howard is the future, but I understand that you're going to have to develop Will Howard. He's not ready to
Hmm.
play right now.
Hmm.
And so now Will Howard will be, because he just came back last week off the injury, off injury reserve. He's going to be the backup to Mason Rudolph. Lord forbid anything happen to Mason Rudolph. Because if Mason Rudolph goes down, then I don't have the same confidence in Will Howard as I have in Mason Rudolph. Now you're in a Dylan Gabriel type situation where now
Hmm.
I got to develop this guy and hope that he can not turn the ball over enough times and the defense and special team win us football games every week. And it's not going to
Hmm.
happen because the schedule is too tough.
You know, so much has happened this week. But moving on, I'm gonna say I'm gonna wait to hear like what the verdict is with Aaron Rodgers before I give my opinion. This defense, we know what they're capable of. You know what I mean? I'm just the inconsistencies to me. I'm like I don't know. I'm not worried about it. You know what I mean? Because this is not like my team, so I don't have a dog in this race. Regardless,
Right.
like no matter what happens. I want everybody to always be healthy. I don't want anybody to have the excuse like, oh, we didn't have our quarterback, we didn't have our star receiver. So we lost. You know what I mean? So
Right.
obviously, I want everybody to be healthy, but I don't trust the defense. You know what I mean? I'm not 100% confident that they're going to show up every single week, week in and week out. But we'll see. I could be wrong. Hopefully, I am.
Yeah, that defense is good. I can trust the
They
defense.
are very good. They are very good.
Definitely against the Bears. I don't trust Caleb Williams. So but Caleb Williams
Hmm.
can prove he can prove some things this week. If he can go out there
Hmm.
and he can slay the Pittsburgh Steelers, then I'm gonna say, you know what? I
The
mean,
nail
don't get me
polish might
wrong.
be working.
Now I will say he's better this year than he was last year. And I'll give Caleb Williams that. I wasn't out on him because I know he got the tools. He has a good arm and he got good stature. I'm
Hmm.
out on him because demeanor. But I mean he's better this year than he was last year, and he's beating the teams that he's supposed to beat. So I'll give him that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to beat teams you're supposed to beat, no matter what's going on. You know what I mean? You got to find a way. Got to find a way. Whew, I'm gonna spend. I didn't have this on the list, but I texted to you like after. Actually, I do have it right here. A lot was said about the Chiefs coming into the season. Because the
Hmm.
Chiefs are the Chiefs, we give them a lot of respect. We give them the benefit of the doubt, and you have to because they've earned that.
Right.
Um, but I said beginning of the season, after what happened last season, I really feel like that beating that they took from the Eagles had other teams saying, you know what? There's nothing to fear here. Like this is not they're not who we thought they were. We can yes, they're still a good team. Patrick is still Patrick, but we can find a way to beat this team. We saw the Eagles do it, and then we could do
Hmm.
it too. And I
Yeah.
feel like that was the start of it because they have not looked the same. And then obviously the conversation was, oh, they don't have Rasheed Rice and like it's every worthy with the shoulder. When they get the weapons back, it's gonna be on and popping, right?
Hmm.
Weapons are back. and it's still looking a little bit like what's going on. So all that being said, with the way they look this season, with the way everything is, with their current record right now, I believe if they season ended today, they wouldn't make the playoffs.
Right.
Do you see them making the playoffs? No, this season. If you had to bet, would you put your money on them to make it?
I would still bet for them to go to the AFC Championship game at worst. Until I
Okay.
see Pat Mahomes not in the AFC Championship game, which
Hmm.
he's been there every year since he's been starting, then yes, look, the Kansas City Chiefs started off the season 0-3. That means over the last 7 games, they're 5-2.
Hmm.
Okay, I'll accept that. I still think the Chiefs are the team to beat. What happened yesterday was Denver impressed me. I was impressed by the Denver Broncos yesterday. I was like, okay, this Sean Payton, no matter what people feel about him, this guy's a hell of a coach. And then he
I
got
guess.
that Vance Joseph got that defense. Man, that front four, Nick Benito and all them guys, man, they are a problem for any team.
The defense, yes,
Yeah,
I
the
will say that.
defense is a problem for any team. And Bo
Hmm.
Nix, he just does enough to not ruin the game for the defense.
I
And
don't
that,
believe in him.
yeah, I'm not a Bo
Yeah.
Nix believer either. But
Hmm.
yesterday, against a really good Kansas City defense, they found a way to win as a team. They played good complementary football. And I was like, that was the best win that the Broncos have had in the last 2 years. That was the win where I can say, okay, I let me pause a minute.
Hmm.
Let me give credit where credit is due because I've been hating on the Denver Broncos, not
Hmm.
believing in them. But yesterday was credible. And the way they played that
Hmm.
football game, I was like, they're a team to be reckoned with. People better not sleep on the Denver Broncos or you'll get beat. Because man,
Hmm.
and Patrick Surtain ain't even there. When he comes back, oh my God, that's gonna even be even worse. Yeah, they're a real threat in the AFC. And when I say a real threat, they're a real threat to go all the way. I'm not
I
picking them,
trust.
but they're a real threat to go all the way.
I trust their defense, but for me, this fourth quarter magic that Bo Nix has been turning on and able to pull off, in these clutch wins, I don't know if I trust that. I do trust the defense. I do believe that no matter who they're playing, where they're playing, at home, on the road, the defense is going to show up. Like they've been consistent. Like they're going to do what they need to do. Bo Nix, I don't trust this. I don't trust that. And he is the QB of that, though, of that franchise.
Yeah,
Is he talented? Yes. Has he been clutch? That he has. Been big moments, in the playoffs where the level of intensity is dialed up. I don't know if they get behind like they have in a few games, like against the Giants, for example. They're gonna be able to turn it on, or is he gonna be able to turn it on specifically in offense to just keep making play after play after play after play after play to get back and win the game. I don't know if I trust that, but I do believe in that defense.
well, I would say
Even
this.
even without liking Sean Payton, I do believe in defense.
Yeah, I can't sit here and say that on one hand, even though the Eagles have been terrible on offense and Jalen Hurt has
Hmm.
been playing way below average,
Hmm.
but they found a way to win games. And the defense is playing lights out.
Hmm.
And I still believe Philly
Hmm.
will end up going to the Super Bowl. I can't sit here and say that on one hand and then look at Denver, who honestly they're playing just as good, if not better, than Philly. And their offense, no, it isn't. It isn't the best. Even though Bo Nix had a stretch where for 2 weeks he contributed to 8 touchdowns. He was playing phenomenal, and still he'll have a game like he had yesterday where it's just okay, it's just enough.
Hmm.
But it's enough against a team in the Kansas City Chiefs that has a really good defense, and with Chris Jones anchoring that defensive line.
Chris Jones has not looked the same this season.
Well, he's looked decent to me. I mean, yeah, he's not necessarily
Decent,
getting.
yes, but not the same. To me, the defense hasn't looked the same. I think the defense looked a lot better last season than it has this season.
Well, I think I got to give the Kansas City Chiefs defense more credit for them winning these 5 games than the offense. The defense has been looking better than the offense, in my opinion. Yeah, the offense had a couple good weeks. I think they played
Hmm.
Detroit. They put up some good numbers, and they played
Hmm.
another team. They put up some good numbers. But even in those games where they put up good numbers, the defense played stellar. Um, Kansas City is still figuring some things out, and one
Okay.
quarterback, I just can't doubt to this point because I still believe he's the best quarterback in football, and that's Pat Mahomes. So, like I said, over the last 7 games, they're 5-2. They lost to a really good team yesterday. They came down to the wire, came down to a game-winning field goal. So it wasn't like they were blown out or they never had a chance. No, they
Hmm.
played a team that defensively, I think the best defenses right now is probably Cleveland, Denver, and Philly. Well, they played one of those defenses. It was gonna be tough. I just think at this point, Denver is a team to be reckoned with. Like teams better take them seriously. If you think Bo Nix ain't this or that, but that defense is, and that defense takes the ball away from the other team, and that defense puts the Bo Nix in good field position where he doesn't have to do much to
Hmm.
be good. He
Just
doesn't
manage
have
the
to.
game. Hmm.
Right, he doesn't have to drive the ball 90 yards up the field because they didn't took
Hmm.
it away and gave it to him at the 30. So he's already in field goal range. So yeah, I just think they got a good team. They got to be reckoned with.
Big dog, we here tonight. We are here tonight, okay, big dog? You're making me smile. Yes, Joshua Tyrell Allen gonna finally beat Mahomes in the AFC Championship this year.
I think he was
What?
asking the question: is Joshua Tyrell Allen going to
I,
finally beat
I,
Mahomes in
I, I
the
don't.
AFC
I
Championship
don't
this
see
year?
it is, and I don't see a question mark. I see a statement. The way this sentence is constructed. So
Oh, okay. I
I'm
just
gonna
thought he
go.
missed a word.
No, 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 no. He didn't miss a word. He put what he meant to say. Remember, he said Bills and 49ers in Super Bowl. Earlier
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this here
I think
podcast.
he
So
buttering up to you.
you know, so don't be a hater. It's all right. You know
No,
what I
I was
mean?
just saying. I just think he's
It's
smoothing
all
up to
right.
you. That's all.
No, no, no. Don't be a hater. That doesn't. It's not becoming of you.
I feel you, big
Mr.
dog.
James. You
I
know what I
feel
mean?
you.
Look, I know it hasn't happened before. All jokes aside, I know it hasn't happened before. And honestly speaking, I don't trust the Bills' defense. I said that back in week one, if I'm being completely honest. But I do believe in Josh, and I do feel like one of these years it's gonna happen. Like it may not be this year, although I would love it if it is. You know what I mean? But at some point it will happen. I don't think he's just gonna lose forever. I think he's too talented and too good, to not get to Super Bowl. I don't know. I think he will get there, and hopefully sooner than later, you guys.
I mean, he has all the talent in the world. I mean, he's very capable of going out there and winning football games. I What I'm seeing this year from Joshua
This
Tyrell
is a
Allen.
team out,
Did he
a team
call him
effort
Josh
though.
Tyshawn Allen? I don't think that's the same guy. I don't think we're talking about the same guy. I
He
don't
is,
know.
but
I don't know
continue.
Josh. I don't know Josh Tyshawn Allen. I don't know that guy. Maybe that guy will beat Pat Mahomes, but I'm talking about Joshua Tyrell Allen.
Hmm.
Joshua Tyrell Allen, like I said, he has all the talent in the world. At some point, I expect him to get over the hump because he's
Hmm.
just too talented, and they're gonna put the right pieces around him. I don't think that this year is the year because not only do I have concerns with the Buffalo Bills defense, I have concerns with their offense.
Hmm.
I mean, if Josh Allen isn't Superman like he was just there against the Bucks, if he's not that, I don't think they have a good chance of winning. They don't have enough weapons. I mean, I seen they brought Gabe Davis back. They done signed me Cole Hartman. The Keon Coleman kid, he can't get to the meetings on time. We got to suspend
Hmm.
him. He's not getting it. Just too much on him and James Cook's shoulder. Dalton Kincaid is out.
I said that last year. Like
It's just and,
they need something else. I mean, like
and
they're like a piece or two away.
right, and because of all those things are happening, I'm seeing Josh make some terrible plays on offense. He's almost reverting back to the old Josh, and he's putting the ball in harm's way. And if it comes playoff time when the competition gets stiff,
Hmm.
pause, and you really have to go out there and play a perfect game where turnovers are a premium, it's going to be hard for them to win football games if he's turning the ball over 2 times in the football game, along with the defense having holes in it.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as I believe in Josh Tyrell Allen and I pull for him, and I think that eventually he will get over the hump, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just not so sure that this is the year.
And to me, that like I said last year, it goes back to coaching. This year, it goes back to coaching because the team is this team that you have is who you got to rock out with.
Right.
It is what it is. So you got Josh. You always got a chance. You got to find a way to take some off of Josh and dare I say James Cook because when you get to the playoffs, it can't just be the two of them. It may work for 1 or 2 games, but you got to have other people other players and things step up. The defense got to figure something else out. They cannot stop the run at all whatsoever. They should not have lost that game to Miami, but they did. That was very, very concerning. Bijan was like a one-man show when they lost to the Falcons, and they couldn't do nothing with him, and he's just one
Right.
person. So those things are concerning, but this is where the coach comes in. Figure something out. This is who you have, and it is what it is. How can you put the team in the best position offensively and defensively, to help achieve your ultimate goal.
Yeah, I mean, just sometimes I think you don't have the personnel. No,
No, I don't think they do, but there's no more trades to be made. Nothing else
no,
can
no,
happen.
no. You gotta go. You
So
gotta go what you got.
yeah.
You gotta go what you got. I think the head coach. I think he's a fine head coach. He can.
Sean. Mhm.
Yeah. I think. I think he knows what he's doing. I think he's
Mhm.
putting the players in the best position to succeed. At the end of the day, the players have to go out there and execute.
Mhm.
They have to throw the football. They have to run the football. They have to catch the football. They have to tackle, and they got to stop
Mhm.
other guys from catching the football when when
Mhm.
when the ball is thrown.
Mhm.
All you can do is put them in position to succeed. At the end of the day, the players got to go execute. And I do think he's putting the players in the best position to succeed. And right now, because of the lack of personnel that they do have, I think they're putting a lot on Josh's shoulders. And he has to be Superman every week in order for them to win. And that's just really difficult to do in this league.
It's not sustainable. Yeah,
Right.
not week in and week out. Um, Before we get out of here, you guys. All right, I gotta ask you this. I gotta ask you what what in the entire hell is going on with the spitting? What's going on with the spitting? Okay, like we saw it the first week, and then we saw it in college like a week, or so later, and then we saw Jamar spit on Jalen and then lie about it, and then lie about it. I don't know if you guys heard, the soundbite, when them both explaining, what happened and so on and so forth. If you have, I'm just gonna play it really quickly for you guys.
You feel me? So it's up. I don't give a football after that. Respectfully, I'm always gonna be all for trash talking and stuff like that. I actually enjoy that part of the game. I think people know that. But and that's what we was doing. I mean, after the first one, the first little thing, the play before, he tried to like crack block me or whatever. I mean, I got up off that, and then we got up to whatever, and he snatched my mouthpiece off my face mask, and that's when I mushed his face mask, and then we whatever. That was just a little scuffle. But the refs told us right there, like, hey, y'all chill, no more of this. Cool. So I'm knowing like, all right, no more. Let's talk. Let's keep it clean. So everybody's staying whatever.
He was saying that you spit on him. Did you spit on him?
I ain't never opened my mouth to that guy.
What do you think prompted the reaction from him?
Well, he don't like some of the words I told him. We've been going back and forth the whole time, so I'm sure some got under his skin.
So it was building the whole game. It just wasn't on that drive.
The first time we had a altercation, and then it was the second time.
Is that the first time in your career anybody's ever punched you in a game?
You see me get punched?
It looked like you threw a punch.
So just to be clear, you did not spit on him at all. What's he saying?
I ain't spit on nobody.
All right, I'm gonna let you go first. What do you think about that? About the whole situation?
And I hate that Chase had to lie. Cause now anything you say going forward, I can't believe you. You lied.
Do
And
you
they
think
just
it's
like,
possible that like maybe he forgot he did, like he was like
no, you
zoned
ain't
out,
forget. No, you
like
got unless he had CTE already. He ain't
uh-huh.
forget that quickly that he spit on another man. It
Because
was
for you to
disrespectful.
lie, knowing that there's so many cameras around, I'm like, it's not a smart lie. Like you can't even try to cover that up. We can see it in 4K, 5K.
Man, I tell you, these kids today, I blame this on parenting. These kids have no discipline,
How old is
and
Shamar?
and they're, shoot, I mean, he has to be like maybe 25, 26 years old, maybe. He's a
Mm-hmm.
kid. He's 26
You
is the
call you
new,
call that a kid?
yeah,
Okay.
because 25 today, 25, 26 is like a 21-year-old, a
Mm-hmm.
20-year-old. No, that's just where they are right now. If you got a 19-year-old, he's really like 15. If you
Mm-hmm.
got a 15-year-old, he's like 11 or 12. Because these kids have been coddled and nobody wanted to whoop their ass when they was coming up. When I was coming up, if your parents found out you spit on somebody, you probably gonna get into a fight in the street. Whoever you spit on is gonna be a fight. But when
Mm-hmm.
your parents found out you spit out your mouth on somebody, you get your ass whooped.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna tell you, no, don't ever spit on nobody. That's the most degrading, disrespectful thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And so these kids clearly have never ever been told by a parent growing up that this is unacceptable. This cannot happen. And if you do spit on somebody, be expected to get punched in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Or when you spit on them, right after you spit on them, go ahead and square up. Now it was embarrassing. Then to go on top of that and lie. And I like Chase, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe going forward. I would never believe anything that Chase has to say without me
Mm-hmm.
verifying it for myself first. Because, in my opinion, and not in my opinion, it's a fact because he
Mm-hmm.
lied. He's a liar,
Mm-hmm.
and that's even worse. That's a character flaw.
Reading Big Dog's comment, I think you should be suspended without pay for the rest of the season if you spit on somebody. He was, I believe, suspended for one game, the next game. And he's going to lose about, I think, $507,000. And I forgot, the exact number, but somewhere around that. Um, I really feel like I'm not going to go to parenting, I will say because he is who he is, what he means to, to the Bengals, like because his production is so high and they depend on him, like he knows he can get away with certain things, like he's a grown man. His mom may curse him out, when she called after the game or, but she's not going to whoop him at this point, and he
But you
knows
gotta do
that.
that when you're young. Because this
Hmm.
ain't the
And
first
he
time he spit on somebody. I can guarantee you that. This is not the first time he spit on somebody. He spit on
and
somebody before, and he faced no disciplinary action for it.
And that's what I'm saying. It all goes back to if him and Jalen were outside, like without any security around, I don't think he would have been that ballsy, because he knows there's a probably a really, really good chance that he would have got
Right.
beat all the way down, but because I'm here, I'm protected, I may get fined, but I can pay for it, whatever, you know what I mean? I can do it. I'm gonna be playing because they need me, I'm that guy, I'm arguably the best, wide receiver here in the league, depending on who you ask, I can get away with it. I can pay it. I can get away with it because I'm that good, and there's not going to really be any consequences. So I do feel like I'm not going to say suspended the whole season like Big Dog, but I do feel like there needs to be stiffer like penalties when people do that, and it's blatant, and you lie on top of it, and we can see it clear as day. I do feel like they both should have been ejected from that game. I don't think it should have
Yeah,
been Jalen.
Ramsey got ejected from the game.
No, I thought they both should have been. Like I
Oh
know
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
I knew
yeah.
that he threw, no, he's throwing the punches or whatever, but you spit on him. Like both
They
of you
didn't
out of
know.
here.
They didn't know Jamal spit on him until after the game. I think
And
if they had
yeah.
known, I think if they had
Hmm.
known he spit on them during the game, I think they
Hmm.
both would have been ejected. But it came back to when they pulled the tape out. It was like,
Hmm.
oh, you spit on them. Okay, yeah, you got to go, and you lied. Like, yeah, you're correct about all the things you just said about, you know, he can afford it and he's got the talent and all that. But at the end of the day, he did damage to his reputation. He did damage
Hmm.
to that name that's on the back of his jersey, which is supposed to represent his family. And that's what you don't want to do. I mean, I hate it
These
for
are
that, and he had to do that, but it
they're
is
so
what
entitled. These players are entitled now.
right. And
Like,
you lied on top of that. No,
mm-hmm,
don't get me wrong. You making $8 million a year or whatever. You got
mm-hmm,
this big contract. A lot of people are gonna forgive you and allow you to get away. And they still might
mm-hmm.
say it's okay. Forget it. You spit on so what? But that's just a terrible look. I mean, he should
I
be
did.
ashamed of himself.
I didn't see it, but my son swears up and down that on the play previously that Jalen tried to like take his knee out, and that's why he did what he did.
I don't care what he tried to do. He did it.
Did
Well,
you
he
see that? I didn't see it, but did you happen to see that?
no. I mean, they were going at it the whole game. I mean,
Yeah.
Chase tried
Mm-hmm.
to take Ramsey's knee out. I mean, they were. I don't care what you do, as long as in the middle of them lines, have at it. Do what you gotta do. It's up to the referee to throw the penalty or not throw the penalty. Whatever. You want to fight in
Mm-hmm.
between, don't spit on the guy.
Yeah, I don't agree with the spitting at all. I think it's very, very disgusting. And I think
Right.
when you do it, it's like he said, it's up. Like football is out the window. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna deal with you in court like you would do out in the street, and I'm putting hands on you. And if I can't do it right now, I'm waiting in that tunnel, or I'm gonna catch you at some other time. But it's gonna be
Right.
up until I get my lick back. Period.
Keep your bodily fluids to yourself.
Yeah.
Amongst men. Now if it's a girl out there, she spit on you, you spit on her. And that's different. I don't know what that might mean, but amongst men,
God.
keep your bodily fluids to yourself, bro.
You should always keep that to yourself.
Yes,
Like period.
I
Like
agree.
keep it spit to yourself. You spit on the ground, you spit on the floor. But I feel
Right.
like now players have become a little bit too comfortable with it. So if you're Roger Goodell, like what do you think should be the penalty so that people like like it stops before it becomes like a trend?
Well, every player in the league doesn't get paid what Chase gets paid.
True.
Another
Jalen
player,
didn't doesn't.
yeah, another player. Well, even Jalen don't get to pay where he's getting paid. But I'm saying if another player, a lesser player, does this and he has to miss a game and miss a game check, it's gonna hurt him
Mhm.
a little bit more.
It is. Mm-hmm.
So don't get me wrong. I think being suspended for a game, I think that's fair. I'm not gonna go to suspending him for the whole season or suspending him for multiple games. I'm not gonna go
Mm-hmm.
there. But I think of the game suspension, I think the fine could have been more. Because missing a game, I think he's only gonna get fined a little bit under $450,000. If you fine a guy $3 million for spin
Mm-hmm.
on the guy, that'll cut that out real quick. Regardless of
I
how
can
much you
I can
make.
I can agree with that. Yeah. Stiffer, yes. Something that's gonna make you say, let me think twice about this because I want my money. Like
Right,
I want
right.
my money. I need my money.
Yes. So
Especially if you
yeah,
don't make as much as somebody else, like Jamar.
right. $3 million. That's the penalty for spin on the guy. And if you can pay $3 million for spin on the guy, then have at it. But I don't think many players can afford $3 million for a selfish act. So
Big Dog says season suspension, no pay. Need real harsh penalties. You definitely coming real harsh. You definitely are.
yeah, I mean, I feel where he's coming from. I just can't agree with it because
Hmm.
there are players that do a lot of things worse than
Hmm.
spin on players, and they'll get 4 games or they'll get 8 games. And so that tells me, okay, what if a player has a domestic violence case that goes
Hmm.
against them? Well, if you suspend a guy a whole season for spin on somebody, then a guy who has a domestic violence it has been proven to
I was gonna
have
say, is it
branded.
proven
No,
or we're
I'm saying a
talking about
guy.
just the
No, I'm
allegation?
saying a guy
Okay.
who has been proven, Ray
Okay.
Rice.
Hmm.
Then his career should be over with.
Hmm.
And I don't think that should be the case either. I think you suspend them for enough game, depending on each circumstance, will be different. I mean, you
Hmm.
look at what Rasheed Rice did. I think what he did is way worse than somebody spin on somebody. They suspended him
Hmm.
for 6 games. Well,
They
if
did, yeah.
you going off the scale of spit equal a year, then what Rasheed Rice did at least deserves 2 years. So I'm
I,
saying if we're gonna go harsh, we got to go all the way harsh on everything. We can't pick and choose.
I
Let's
get what
just
you're saying. I do feel like certain situations, I mean, every situation is not the same. But I get what you're. I get both of your points actually. I don't agree with the whole season suspension. To me, that it's a bit excessive, unless this is that you've done more than one time. You have a history over the
Right.
years, of multiple seasons spitting in people's faces. Then it's like, okay, we really gotta like really
Oh
go
yeah,
harsh and
yeah,
put
yeah.
put the hammer down with you because you just nasty, you
Right,
disrespectful, you don't give a damn. There's something
right,
different.
right.
But for someone, let's say, who did it one time, still disgusting and messed up and disrespectful. Um, but I'm gonna say maybe a hefty fine, and I'm gonna go 4 week suspension. I'm a month. I'm gonna go a month because we need to know now. Like this needs to stop. Period. Like this is not gonna be tolerated. You can shit talk. You can say what you want to say. Obviously you can hit somebody really hard. This is the NFL. It's a very violent sport. We're not gonna have people spit on people because somebody's gonna get hurt one of these days.
Oh
Somebody's
yeah,
gonna get
yeah.
hurt.
I
Like
heard
if this keeps it up.
James Harrison
Like
said, "Guy spit on me. I'm gonna find out what he had in the off season." So it can.
there we go. Yeah.
This is real serious, and definitely when you're talking about football players,
Hmm.
I tell everybody in the world, two kind of athletes you don't want to fool with is
Hmm.
football players and professional wrestlers. These
Hmm.
guys are crazy in real life.
Hmm.
They don't give a damn about lawsuits and all.
Hmm.
Like you can, an NBA player, not all of them, but just about most of the NBA players, you can go
Hmm.
up to them, you can say what you want to say to them, you can slap the hell out of them. It don't really matter. They're gonna be careful about not being sued. They care about stuff like that. Baseball players, but football players, UFC fighters, professional wrestlers,
Hmm.
these folks crazy, man. These folks will kill you.
Your accent is hilarious when you say that. These folks crazy.
What
Oh
accent?
man. Yeah, okay. What accent? No, no accent at all. We don't hear anything. But no, oh man, Big Dog said 2 seasons for proven domestic violence. Big Dog says you're going to be out the league if it happened too many times. Like 1 season for spitting, 2 seasons for proven domestic violence, and then 3 seasons for what, Big Dog? You're gonna be they're not gonna mess with you, I'll say that much.
I mean,
Because
I seen a guy, kill somebody and came back to the league.
who killed somebody and came down? You talking about?
The wide receiver used to play with Pittsburgh and
Uh-huh.
Santonio Holmes. Yeah,
Hmm.
killed somebody, man. I mean, it wasn't murder. It was
Hmm.
more like I think he wrecked them in the car or
Self-defense?
something. No, it
Hmm.
was like a driving. He wrecked them. So it was a driving situation. Killed somebody.
By
He came
accident
back.
though.
Yeah, yeah, but he still killed
Oh, okay.
somebody. Yeah, and he
Like
came back to the
manslaughter. I
league.
mean like
Yes,
vehicular homicide
manslaughter.
or something? Okay.
Right, right, right.
Okay.
He had to go down for a minute, but he came back and he got back
Hmm.
in the league. I, you can damn near do anything
Hmm.
outside of protesting for black people rights. As long as you don't do that, you can do anything and get back in the league. All that'll be forgiven if you got
Hmm.
enough talent to
You
play.
got no talent. There we go. I'm about to say your talent's up
Right,
here, like
right.
they'll
So
help you, they'll help you escape from jail, like depending on how talented you are.
right.
But yeah, so as of right now, it's just seems to be the 1 game suspension. But I do think if this keeps happening, someone else does it, and then again, we're gonna see some stiffer penalties. I do feel like Roger Goodell should get ahead of this now, because for those who do make a lot of money, they're like 1 game, I could eat that, I'm good, I'm good. And looking at Jamar, I just really, I don't like Jamar. He's so talented, but I just really felt like he had no remorse at all. He's like, I didn't do that. Is that what you
I'm
saw? No.
I'm
I mean, like,
disappointed at
I was
Jamar.
like, really? I'm like, come on, Jamar. Like what are we doing? Um, as they said, when emotion is high, logic is low. So
Yeah, I'm
you
down
know.
on Jamar. I'm not a fan of Jamar no more. Not even because
Oh,
he spit on
okay.
the guy. I'm not
Hmm.
mad at him because
Because
he
he
spit
lied.
on the guy because you lied. When you go in front of the press conference and they ask you
Hmm.
questions, the media members they ask you questions because they represent the fans that
Hmm.
are not there. They all the fans
Hmm.
can't sit there and ask you questions. So they got some media members who represent the fans and ask the questions the
Hmm.
fans would probably want to have the answers to. So
Hmm.
when you answered that question and said you didn't do that, you lied to me.
Hmm.
And I just don't take that kindly. Like you lied, bro. All right. I can't believe nothing you say going forward.
Hmm.
Um, Big Dog, I see a comment that Big Dog got. He's
Oh,
talking
hold
about
on.
the Mike Vick situation. Um,
Hold on. Oh, he put two comments in here. Hold on.
yeah, I feel
I remember
yeah.
that he killed them and was back in the league, but act like they didn't, Michael Vick, like they didn't Michael Vick back with some dogs.
Mike Vick went to prison for 2 years. Mike Vick is a legend because Mike Vick is the first player to get $200 million contracts. He got $100 million contract out of prison.
Hmm.
That just lets you know how talented he was. He's probably the most talented quarterback I've ever seen, just talent wise. Now he didn't have the work
That was
ethic.
Aaron Rodgers, really?
No, I mean when you just talk about throwing the football, I could say Aaron Rodgers. Just he's arguably the best thrower of the football, and that's
Hmm.
arguable. But when it just comes to all around throwing the
All
football,
of it.
running
Okay.
with
Running. Okay.
excitement,
Hmm.
Mike Vick was it. Now
Mike Vick
again,
was it.
he wasn't the most disciplined football player. He wasn't the
Hmm.
brightest football player. But what he did to them dogs was inhumane.
Yeah. I remember
Now,
when that happened.
I at the time I was one who was like he doesn't deserve to do two
Hmm.
years in prison for killing dogs because at that time I'm from the South and in the South dog fighting was something that was prevalent. Like people fight dogs all the time. I never saw it as you know out of bounds. Like
Hmm.
people in the neighborhood fight dogs. White folks they get dogs, they train them up, they fight dogs. It
I
wasn't
never
a
agreed
black
with it. I
it
think it
wasn't
is
in a black
inhumane.
thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it is inhumane. I mean, don't get me wrong. Once again, I'm saying from the
Hmm.
culture I grew up in, I knew good people. I knew people who were decent role models in the neighborhood that fought dogs.
Hmm.
And so, but when I heard about they would put the dogs in the tub, pull the dog out, shot the dog. Like now, I'm like, okay, these dogs ain't even getting killed in the dog fight. They getting killed because they lost the dog fight, and you got to put the dog down. Now I'm like, come on, bro, that's just a little bit too far for me. So I'm okay with Mike Vick doing some jail time, but I think 2 years and to take away his career when I just thought, you know what, if you find the hell out of him, if you charge him $1 million per dog that you kill, that'll kill all the dog fighting. Ain't nobody fighting dogs no more. But in the South, they fight chickens, they fight dogs, they put bugs in the jar, they make the bugs fight. They'll put anything together and make them fight. They got fish that they put in the water, they're gonna fight each other. I mean, they just people in the South like to see animals, insects, or whatever they can get fight. People, that's just how the South is. So me growing up in that environment, I didn't see it the way the rest of the country saw it.
Hmm.
So, but I was younger then and now I see, I see that a lot of these dogs are family members to to their
Yeah,
owners,
I grew up
especially
I grew up with dogs, so for, like to me
yeah,
that's
me
I
too.
don't care if they fighting, you're shocking them, whatever,
Yeah,
fish. I don't like insects, but I don't think anything I don't think God put dogs here for us to just make them fight, to the death. Then if they lose, let me just take it, and
right.
I've seen people like,
I
put
agree.
animals on fire. Okay, I'm like, what are
Yeah,
y'all
see,
doing?
that's just too
I'm
much. That's
like,
just
what's
too
happening?
much.
Like I don't, but I know dog fighting was a popular thing. I couldn't do it, and I couldn't be with somebody who did. Like even like
Right.
friendship wise, I'm like that's too cruel for me. I couldn't do it. But he did go to jail. And I think he learned his lesson.
Oh yeah, he learned his lesson real quick. They changed Mike Vick.
Big Dog said, he's about Jamar Chase, y'all. He spat on somebody and lied about it. I will still take him in San
Oh yeah,
Francisco.
now he got the talent. Again, he got the talent. And so,
Hmm.
now if he loses his talent and he spit on somebody, he's out the league. But because he's Jamar Chase and he's still young and he still can catch a slant route and take it all the way to the house, he'll be
Even if
fine.
it's someone who's not as talented as Jamar Chase, like the past two times, like this season, I'm not going back like into previous years and decades and stuff. Like this season, like you suspended one game. So if somebody else, let's say I don't know, third strings,
Tyler
backup,
Lockett.
You
Tyler
know,
Lockett
you're
spit on
gonna,
somebody, he's done.
and that to me, like I said, you got to keep the same president to me if that's the case. Like if you're gonna
They don't.
suspend, it's suspend. Like if you're gonna
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying
fine,
the
then
league.
fine. You
No,
know.
no, no. I'm not saying the league. Like if Tyler
Mhm.
Lockett spit on somebody, the
Mhm.
league would just give Tyler Lockett one game.
Mhm.
The Raiders are gonna say, "All right, that's enough.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You're not
I get what you're
even
saying.
worth
Okay.
the trouble. We done with you."
Mhm. Okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, she's about the league. Okay.
Right.
Hold on. Before we get out of here, as a kid living in Harlem in the early 90s, I used to see dog fighting all the time. Dog fighting was very, very popular, big dog. You know, you both are right. To me, I think like he said, I think the perfect word is inhumane. I think it's really, really cruel.
Yeah, it is
To
crazy.
go get a dog or breed a dog or raise a dog just to fight and just keep fighting and fighting until it just just bleed to death. You
Well,
know, I
they,
don't.
they put a lot of money on them dogs. It's an investment. I mean, they have whole kennels. They get a lot of dogs. They train them up. And
Hmm.
while
And
they're in the training process,
it's
these
cruel.
dogs are
Yeah.
right. While they're in the training process, these dogs are well taken care of. They're fed good. They're treated. They got big cages and they can roam in the backyards and they do all that stuff. But at the end of the day, at some point, these dogs got to go in the cage and they got to fight. And all dog fights aren't created equal. Some dog fights, there's a clear winner, clear loser. You take your
Hmm.
dog out. Sometimes the fight is to the death. Those are the most cruel ones. Well, one of
Yeah.
these dogs got to die. That's on some gladiator type stuff. Like that's just too much. But
Yeah.
even if you fight a dog and your dog lose, they don't keep that dog who lost as a pet.
No, you can't.
They're like he's done. Because he's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
psychologically
Yeah. You
damaged,
ruined
and
him. Yeah.
so you gotta kill that dog. And that's I just don't like that.
Hmm.
I feel the same way about horse racing.
I don't like that
A
either.
lot of people
Yeah.
are okay with horse racing,
Hmm.
but I think horse racing is inhumane. You beating a horse, you got the spikes to make him go faster, and
Hmm.
Lord forbid the horse breaks an ankle. You got to
And you take
put
him
the
out
horse
back.
down.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I just think making money off animals competing is is inhumane. Period.
Yes, indeed.
Just let them be in the wild, and they'll figure out survival that way.
Well, I mean, look, in Michael Vick's case, you're very successful. You don't need that kind of, you don't need that money, for dog fighting anyway.
Yeah, but he ain't that bright of a person. He's not the what they say. He's not the sharpest pencil in the box.
I don't think he expected, obviously, to be, to go to jail for no 2 years either.
Well, a lot of people don't know because they're not from Atlanta, and I am, and I've been around. Man, there's a lot of stuff the Falcons swept on the road. There's a lot of stuff Michael Vick did that people don't even know about. They know about these things. They'll be like, "Oh man, he's a terrible person,"
Hmm.
but they didn't want people to know everything about Mike Vick and what he was doing and how he was treating kids. I know some stories about Mike Vick, and I
Hmm.
was his huge fan, so I was like, damn. Even when I was in him, I was like, damn, why Mike Vick do that? But
Hmm.
he had a cannon and he ran the 4-2 at the quarterback, and so I rolled with him anyway.
Hmm.
But Mike Vick wasn't the kindest person when he was down here in Atlanta playing quarterback. So, you know, everything
Right? I'm thinking the same thing.
turn
The
around.
dog, he about to go on, get on here snitching,
Nah, I ain't gonna
you
tell
know?
on him. I'm just letting everybody know, like it was told to me, like it was broken down to me when I was hearing like some of the stuff that was going on. I was like,
Hmm.
I can't believe this. He's like, yeah, but the Falcons were doing a good job of covering up. So y'all got to understand. I say this to say that these NFL teams, when a guy has a lot of talent,
They cover up your stuff. Yeah.
they'll cover up a lot of mess. And when they done with you,
Hmm.
all your mess somehow everything you do start to come out. When they ready to get rid of you, and they need the fans to be on their side and support them and say, oh, that's why they got rid of them. But these guys are doing a lot of stuff that you don't know about, but they're not ready to get rid of them yet. So they cover it
No.
up. So,
No, you are undeniable. They put up with a lot. Then the men that you're not, or they can get somebody else in there that's just as
right,
talented, and it's like, okay,
right.
you can get on up out of here. We don't need you anymore. All right, you guys, that is it for tonight's episode. We have been on here again almost 3 hours, you
Yeah,
guys, and
yeah,
really,
that's becoming a common thing.
I think the Shedeur topic took us over
It
because that one
always
took, yeah,
does.
that one took us all the way, like 55 minutes,
Right.
it should be driving me crazy with that Kevin Stefanski defending.
Yeah, I would
So,
just be having
you
to
know,
keep
raising
it 100
raising
with you.
my blood pressure and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Whew. But I'm
Yeah, I don't
calmed
do
down
that.
now. Woosah, you
I'm
guys, you know
glad.
what I mean? We're back. We are back. We're gonna be going into week 12. Do you have I'm not even sure who's playing who, should I say? There's so many games that are happening. What are you looking forward to before we got out of here really quickly, week 12? If
Well,
anything.
I would say that we're in the crux of the NFL season right now.
Hmm.
Everything is starting to shake up. Week 12, teams are going to start to put themselves in playoff position. There's going to be
Hmm.
teams that start to take themselves out of playoff position. And this is going to be a big week. Game I look forward to this week will be the Colts and the Chiefs.
Mm.
It's gonna be a huge game. Um, Chiefs need a win. A loss will take them under 500 and will put
Hmm.
them even further behind the eight ball because, like you said
Hmm.
earlier, if the season ended today, then
Yeah, they're not
they'll be
serious.
in the ninth slot,
Hmm.
and that's just not gonna cut it. Um, I think also this week, if Aaron Rodgers is out, we don't know just yet. He's
Hmm.
50-50. We don't know if he's gonna be out a week or he's gonna play. But the Steelers and the Bears, this is the big week
Hmm.
because the Chicago Bears playing in the division with Detroit and Green Bay.
Hmm.
And I don't know how many teams out that division is going to be able to make the playoffs. So the best thing to do is win the division if you can. And so, also, of course, if Dylan Gabriel doesn't get out of concussion protocol, we got to be expected to see Shedeur Sanders this week. This could be a big week. I look forward to seeing Shedeur come out there,
There we
play,
go.
have a
Forget
whole
Dylan
week,
Gabriel.
with the ones, and
A
it's
whole
in
week.
Vegas. It's in Vegas. You get to go sit in front of your mentor, who didn't draft you, by the way. He passed up on you 3 times. You get to show your mentor, Tom Brady, oh, you'd rather go with Geno Smith over me? Yeah, I look forward to that. And also, the Eagles and the Cowboys. The Eagles and the Cowboys. It's gonna be a huge game. We're gonna see
Hopefully
that
so, right?
we're gonna see if the Cowboys are for real or if
Hmm.
they're as fraudulent as I believe them to be. And last, for Big Dog, you get to see a Bryce Young who's been playing exceptionally well this year. He's traveling to your spot down there in Oakland, down there in San Francisco, should I say, to play them 49ers. Is Bryce Young a franchise quarterback or is he not a franchise quarterback? This is a big game because it also it will put it has the potential of making this a
Hmm.
real race in the NFC South between the Bucks and the Panthers because the Bucks have a huge game. They also got to travel to the West Coast this week to play the Rams.
Hmm.
And if the Rams beat the Bucks and the Panthers can beat the 49ers, the Panthers got a legitimate shot of winning that division and making it to the playoffs for the first time in Bryce Young's career. So once again, week 12, man, the storylines that we're gonna be talking about next week are gonna be out of this world,
Yep,
potentially.
I'll be here live, y'all, for Shador's game. Tell you that right now. I will be on live for that game. I came on live yesterday for Shador.
I know you
You
took your
know,
wrap off and everything.
I had my bonnet on, y'all. I was,
The
laying down,
audacity.
relaxing, watching the game, and then now he texted me like Shador's playing. I was like, right now? Like right now,
Right.
right now? And I was like,
Exactly.
okay, I gotta find it. Ooh. I was like going through, like trying to
Exactly.
find it, and I finally found. I had to watch it on YouTube first, and I finally found it on my TV, and I was like, yes, here we go. And I had to hop on here and give it a shot. So I'm excited to see
Right.
Shador play. I'm just excited his opportunity. Like even if they don't keep him, they move on from him. I'm just happy that he's finally get a chance to to play, live out his dreams. So
See, you
let's
just
go.
want to see him play. I want to see him play well.
I want to see him succeed, but he has the opportunity first. We got to start with that. Like we got to start with that part first. So he has an opportunity. Right now they're saying that he's going to be the starting QB. So that means that he should be getting, his first team reps. And I do pray that, I'm look, it's 1 week, you know what I mean, compared to, if we're going comparison, Dylan Gabriel's had multiple weeks, months, so on and so forth. He don't have all that, This is what he has. He has to make the best of it, So I'm hoping that he can.
Yeah, I hope he can too with that shoddy offensive line that it seems like they're holding every other snap or they're letting the guy clean through up the middle. Uh, your wide receivers aren't that good, but hey, you're gonna have first team reps all week.
I mean, honestly,
Garden didn't Gabriel not passing the concussion protocol, which I don't think. I don't think even if Gabriel do pass the concussion protocol, I think they're going with Shedeur. Either way it go, which is good. Okay, fine. He gonna have all the reps. I want to see him go ball out. I don't want to see him like he was yesterday because if he does that, then it's gonna go with everything I've been saying. Why I don't want him to play with the Cleveland Browns because this
mhm.
organization is trash, and I
I
don't want
forgot
him to be
gonna
in the
say,
trash can. You know, but it's the opportunity that you got. Make the best of it. I'm pulling for you.
yeah,
I hope you ball out, and if you ball out, I believe they're going to keep you in as a starting quarterback going forward. Because at that point,
I don't believe that. I don't believe.
they need to find out if you are the guy next for the next year, or if they need to
Mhm.
go in the draft and take that kid out of Indiana.
Even if Shador does ball out, I still feel like Kevin is gonna be like, I gotta go back to Dylan. Like he was playing good
No, he
enough.
can't.
Like
He won't be able
I don't.
to.
No matter how this goes, I really don't see it. Look, would I be happy if Shador balls out and he wins the starting QB job? Of course I will. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm
Yeah,
not.
if he balls out,
But
he gonna win it.
I don't see him going back though. I don't.
It
We'll
won't
see
be
what
in,
happens.
it won't be in Kevin Stefanski's hand if he balls out. It's gonna go up. It's gonna be above his pay grade at that point.
We shall see. I'm not holding my breath. I'll say that much. Big dog, leave me alone. Kaja asked me, was I watching the Browns? I did when you joined because 49ers was over. What was the score at that point, Big dog? It was 44-22 with like 10 seconds left. There was no way they're going to make a comeback in 10 seconds. You might as well hop on over and watch 12 be legendary. Why not?
Yeah, but that didn't happen.
Be a part of the movement, big dog. Come on now, be a part of the movement.
Yeah, that wasn't no movement to be a part of yesterday.
Look, I'm not gonna shit on Shador because there was still if that ball is catching the end zone and he happened to drop it, all right, this game is going to overtime.
It was a
You
good
know,
defensive
so
play. I mean, it was a good throw, but it was also a good defensive play by Marlon Humphrey. He got his
no,
hand in there.
I'm talking about Shador's part of it though. Like I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about the
he threw a
defensive
good
side of it.
ball, but the
So
defense played good.
if that ball is not dropped, that is a touchdown, and we're having a different conversation. Then it would be,
Yeah.
well, Shador didn't win the game. It was the defense that won them the game.
Now,
It
if
would
he would
still
have
be
scored that
something
touchdown, that would have
regardless.
been great because that means he would have
Yeah,
put
it
the
would have
points on
been,
the
but
board.
we know that the haters would have still found something to say. It would have been like, oh well, they didn't know they weren't winning. The defense, Miles Garrett had this many sacks on and so forth. It would have still been somebody who
No,
found
that
something
would
to
have
say
tied the
regardless.
game up. You can't say nothing if a man throw a touchdown that
You
ties
may
the
not
game
say
up.
anything, but we know how people are on social media and haters, and somebody would have still found something to say.
Now, if they would have won, because they would have went to overtime, and then Cleveland had a chance to win. Let's say the man catches that touchdown. They go to overtime. Cleveland kicks a field goal to win the game. He's a hero. He's everything that we thought he was at that point. But when it didn't happen, and he put 0 points up on the board, and he 4 for 16 with one pick, then it's like, okay, now you get a naysayers. And I told you this. I said, if he comes in and he doesn't play well, it doesn't matter about the circumstances. The naysayers are going to say that he's not good enough, and that's not true.
They're gonna
The
say that
truth is,
regardless.
the truth is, the Cleveland Browns put him in a bad spot. I mean, don't get me wrong, he has to take some accountability for his play, but he's not totally responsible for not playing well yesterday.
Mark my words, they win this game, and I really pray that they do. It's going to be, well, the Raiders are a bum team. Let's see him go out and win against
Yeah,
us
you
this
got to
Sunday.
beat the Raiders. I'm sorry,
That's
you gotta ball
I'm
out against the
saying I'm
Raiders.
saying if he does though, that's going to be the statement. Well, he only beat the no, he only beat the Raiders. They only
Yeah,
won 2 games.
but
That's
yeah,
going to
rookie
be it's
though.
always gonna rookie is Shedeur. Like
Yeah, but you
they're
got.
gonna find something to say. You
But
may
it's
not personally,
But the
but they're
truth of
gonna
the
find
matter
something to
is,
say.
you're right. The truth of the matter is, y'all gonna have somebody that say, but he has more people that are pulling for him and room for him. Like Dylan Gabriel has way more haters than Shador. It's not even close.
I don't think
Like
so.
people hate Dylan Gabriel. Like these people almost like they want to see Dylan Gabriel die. I'm like, God dang, like
I
give the
haven't
kid a
seen
chance.
I haven't seen
People,
any comments like
I'm
that
saying
for Dylan Gabriel at all.
all the shows that I'm watching, have seen clip. Like I said, I don't watch
Hmm.
TV, so I don't know what's
Hmm.
going on ESPN, First
I'm
Take,
talking
Get
about
Up,
podcasts.
and
I'm
all
talking
that.
about podcasts.
But
Yeah.
Nightcap, Shador, and pulling for
They,
they.
they, but they've never wished that Dylan Gabriel died or nothing like that,
No,
or
but
just that God
but I'm
hurt.
saying, but
No.
I didn't say they. Which the only player that really done came out and said I wish bad for Dylan Gabriel is to Talik Akib or whatever his
Hmm.
name is for the Gilbert's Arena. All them
Oh, okay, I
guys.
haven't heard that. Okay.
Yeah. He said, I don't care, man. I want to see Dylan Gabriel do bad. I'm gonna put you door. I'm like, I can't
Hmm.
listen to nothing else you say going forward. But I
Hmm.
respect your opinion, but you
Hmm.
can't talk about the situation. Skip Bayless, all these people want to see. They hate Dylan Gabriel. They
I
want to
think
see Shador succeed.
I don't think that Skip Bayless hates Dylan Gabriel.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
always says religiously, like I watch. I don't know if it's true or not because
Oh
like he
yeah, he
could be
watching that
lying.
Oklahoma
But
and
he
all
always
that.
says I watch every single
Yeah,
snap that he took. I watch every single snap that Shador took, and I really feel like Shador is the better QB. I think Dylan Gabriel
right. I
is
mean,
okay,
yeah.
but I do think Shador is better, and
Yeah,
that's
he said that,
fair.
but Skip
You
also
know.
said on that show, and this one thing I do like about Skip. Skip will tell you when he can't be biased. He'll tell you, I'm unbiased about this
Hmm.
because I like this player, but
Hmm.
this is how I feel about like so. But when you
Hmm.
tell me that, then I know I'm not gonna get an objective opinion from you. So everybody on that show, besides the guy who played defensive tackle for the Bucks, he's pretty objective on that show. He kind of keeps it down the middle. And then if I go to Speakeasy, Shady can't be objective. So
He
I'm
is.
saying,
I don't think he's completely biased. I don't think
yeah,
that
he's
he just
completely
believe.
biased.
I don't think that he believes in Dylan Gabriel's talent, and
No,
that's
I
fine. Like
mean, but
Big Dog reading his comment, he don't believe in Shador's talent. Like, and that's okay. Like, I don't think anybody needs
no,
to be convinced of
no.
somebody else's talent.
I'm just saying, out of all the, I don't watch much TV, like I said, but of the Cam Newton, and I like Cam ATL. I like his little show. He used to be objective when it comes to because they're all so close to Dion. See, a lot of these
Mhm.
players have a relationship with Dion where it's like they
But
really can't
Cam
say
has
any.
gotten caught out there a few times saying some comments that his sons were not like too fond of. So I can't sit there and say that every time he makes a comment or
Yeah,
most of
no,
his
I
comments
like Cam. I
have
like
been
Cam.
have been biased
No,
towards or in Shador's
I'm saying
favor.
my whole thing. I'm not saying that Cam has been biased towards Shador. I'm
And Unc and
saying
Osho have also said that Dylan Gabriel played well, in the
yeah,
season.
but they clearly and something I even saw last week. Well, Shannon was like, I don't even want to talk about it because I just can't. He just can't be objective. He was like, let's just move on. I don't want to even talk about it because I'm just too close
Because
to the
they don't
situation.
because
Because
they
he's too
don't
close to because he's too close to the
because
situation.
but
And
also
Dion is
they
like his best friend.
they don't believe in like the way the organization, the Browns, have handled the whole situation as well. Like there's
Right.
just
That's
different
fair.
layers
That's
to it.
fair. But
Because I watched all the episodes, so
my
I've
whole
heard them
point
say good things about Dylan
my
Gabriel as
whole
well.
point is that all of these people that I named, all these shows, all those guys are Shador fans. They're not Shador haters.
But they've also been objective as well.
They've
Like
never
there's been
they
I watched every episode, so I'm gonna speak on it. Like they've said more than one time, Dylan Gabriel has played well,
well they
but
said that,
they
then why can't
but
Dylan Gabriel take all the snaps and continue to develop?
because the same thing
That's it. I'm saying
goes back to what I said
that's
earlier.
my whole
The
point.
people found it odd,
But
like they
that's
found it odd that
my whole
Shador
point
has
is
not had any snaps at all,
I can
and
under,
he's a backup QB.
I can understand that coming from people who ain't played football like myself.
But they have
But
played
people,
football, and that's how
that's
they
my whole
feel.
point. People who
So
have been in the
but
game.
that doesn't make them biased because you don't agree with it. That means they have a
No,
different
no, it ain't
opinion.
got nothing to do with being in the green. I'm saying I don't care whether you agree with it or not. My whole point is at least don't lie to the people when it comes to telling people how football organizations work. Now you can have your opinion, you can ride with who you ride with, don't ride who you don't want to ride with, but don't make stuff up when it comes to
So you
how
mean
these
it's not,
organizations are
so
ran.
when you heard Rex Ryan and Damian Woody say, and they're both been very objective, especially Rex Ryan when it comes to Shedeur, that it's very odd and weird that Shedeur like they haven't had not one rep with him at all. That doesn't tell you anything because we definitely can't put them in a situation of saying they want to see Shedeur ball out because that's definitely not Rex Ryan's vibes.
It doesn't because
So they don't
no,
know what they're talking about
I
either,
agree
and
with
they
Red
also
Ryan.
have played.
Like Red
And
Ryan's
Rex
is
Ryan is a coach,
yeah. I mean, I listened to the
former
whole
coach.
I listened to the whole Rex Ryan clip, and he
I
was
did as
on
well.
point. But and even in that quote, he was going both ways. He was talking out both sides of his neck because he's like, there's some sort of disconnect here, and I agree with that. There is a disconnect there.
But you skip
But
into the part that you want to agree with, though. I'm
no,
talking
but
about
it's
the
not
whole
about.
thing.
I'm I'm
I can't pick bits
I'm
and pieces
only
out of
talking
someone's
about. I'm
statement that
only
only fits the narrative
I'm
of what
only
I want
talking.
to hear.
I'm only
You
talking
keep
about.
going to the disconnect part,
No,
but he
I'm only
also said that the reps and stuff are weird, and you keep negating that part of his comment.
I'm not.
I don't know why,
It is weird because you have
but
two rookie quarterbacks. That's my whole point. My whole point is today. Josh McCown wrote a whole diatribe. I mean, it was he might have well wrote 3 pages of telling people the experience of being a backup quarterback who was drafted out of the third round and later because that's what he was. Chase Daniels had a whole thing on. He did a whole video talking about his experience as a backup quarterback. They all say the same thing. It's not fair. We're not going to get the reps. This is just how it goes. And
we
that's just
didn't say
how.
that he had to get all the reps, but I've heard more than one also former player. Like
Yes,
I said, it depends on who you
again,
listen to and who you choose to listen to. Because I'm not just talking about friends or local fans. No, talking about the game.
I
These men have
understand that.
also played in the NFL and have won
Yes,
championships, and they're also saying some of it is weird. And if we
it
can't
is
be
weird.
objective and honest about it, then we shouldn't have the
No,
conversation.
it
Because
is weird.
it's because you keep acting like it's not
No, it's
like
weird. But the reason
like.
why it's weird is what we're disagreeing on. It's weird because you have two rookies in that situation. Most of the time, you have a veteran quarterback and a young quarterback, and the veteran quarterback doesn't need all the reps, so you can get the young quarterback 3 to 4 reps. But in this case, which is the first time in NFL history it has ever happened, you have a
Mhm.
case where you have two rookie quarterbacks and you want to develop the one rookie quarterback who is the coach's guy, and the coach wants to give him all the reps. So you don't give the fifth round quarterback any reps, which is doing him a disservice, is doing him a disservice because he's not backing up a veteran quarterback. He's backing up another rookie, which is why everybody in the front office should be fired because they're trying to do something that has never been done in the history of the NFL. And that puts you in a vicarious position to where even Rex Ryan and anybody who's watching this situation from afar can tell you that something is terribly wrong inside of the front office of the Cleveland Browns. Those guys are not on the same page. And because you're not on the same page, you're doing a disservice to both of your quarterbacks because your fifth round quarterback, who's now your backup quarterback, is not getting reps in practice. And he's not getting reps in
I don't see
practice.
where the disservice to Dylan Gabriel has been, as he's gotten all the reps and then some from the very beginning. What's the disservice to him? The only
He
reason
has
Shador's playing now is because he's hurt. And
Dylan Gabriel start
when he heals up, he'll be back in the front
Dylan
seat the way
Gabriel
it
started
seems.
getting all the reps when he became the starter. Until then, he was getting some of the reps because Joe
But my
Flacco.
point is that he still has been put in better position
Yes,
to
because
succeed
when Dylan
aside from
Gabriel
Shador.
because
So
when Dylan that's
how
my
is he
whole
not?
point. That's my whole
So
point.
what are we saying here?
Because when Dylan Gabriel was the backup, he wasn't backing up another rookie. He was backing up a 20-year vet. The 20-year vet doesn't need all the
But
reps.
you said that they both been done a disservice. What's the disservice that has been done to Dylan Gabriel? Where is it? Because I'm not seeing it. So point it out.
The disservice that has been done to this Dylan Gabriel is what we're about to see right now. when what I expect Shedeur to go out here and ball out this week against the Raiders.
Hmm.
Once he balls out this week against the Raiders, I expect Shedeur to get another start the following week. And then if he plays well or he plays, let's say he plays average, I expect them to give him another week because now
You honestly think?
you have
You
to see what
honestly
you got
think?
in Shedeur. And if
I
you
I
don't see
I,
what
I
you got, if you don't see what you got in Shedeur, then now you going back to doing Shedeur disservice again. You have
I've
to
been
let
saying that you have to see what
you
you
have to
have
pick
between the
one.
both of them.
You have to pick one of these guys and say, "This is my guy. I'm developing this guy." I can't develop two rookie quarterbacks. It's
I've been
impossible.
said that, which is why I said they both should have been given a chance, or
No,
whatever
I'm
have you. But
saying no.
nevertheless,
You got to pick
my question.
one. You can't develop
I
both of them. You
I
have
said that.
you
I said you have
right,
to figure out weeks ago
right,
who is if you have your starting QB right now between the two of them.
right.
Is
So
it Dylan?
Stefanski picked
Is it
Dylan.
Shador? Like what I've seen, I'm not convinced. It's Dylan Gabriel.
Right.
I haven't seen enough of Shador to
That doesn't
say
matter though.
that he's the one.
It's
I'm giving you my opinion because I listened to yours. So what I'm saying is that's what I thought the whole plan was in the beginning anyway. When you have two rookie
yeah, but it
QBs,
wasn't the plan.
I don't know. I don't know what their whole plan was. I'm not there, and unless you were there, that's your
Yeah, but
opinion as well.
we can
And
see what their
so
plan is because Kevin Stefanski lays it out every week at the press conference.
exactly,
If
but
Dylan
Shador
Gabriel
at
is
the same
healthy,
time is still there. So
yes,
the fact that he's still there and we like nothing's happening, there is something else going on. That much we can agree on. I
right.
will say, even if Shador balls out this week, I fully expect if Dylan Gabriel is back healthy, I do expect Dylan Gabriel to get his starting position back.
So
I
you
don't
saying
see,
that
I
they
don't.
picked Dylan Gabriel?
I don't. I think Kevin Stefanski, like I said, I think Kevin. I said this weeks ago. I think Kevin
So
Stefanski has more say than what you
okay,
choose to give him
so
credit for, and I do believe that Shador is there for right now for a short time, not a great
well
time.
then that's a problem. If Kevin Stefanski has picked Dylan Gabriel, which we seem to both agree that he has picked Dylan Gabriel, then you're doing should do a disservice.
I've been said that.
That's all I've been saying. You can't have two rookie quarterbacks and develop them both. You're gonna have to pick one over the other. And
I've been said that.
whichever one you pick, the other one can't get no reps. I'm sorry, he's a rookie. I got to give the rookie all the reps, even if it's Shedeur going forward. Let's say Shedeur balls out this week, and they decide, you know what, we're gonna stick
Mhm.
with Shedeur going forward. Dylan Gabriel can't get any reps with the first team. I have to develop Shedeur because I have to see if I need to draft that Indiana kid in the first round next year. And the only way I'm gonna find that out is if I give Shedeur every opportunity to succeed. But what I cannot do, I can't give possibly. It's impossible. It's only one football. I can't give two quarterbacks the best possibility to succeed. I have to pick one.
Well, no, one is going to get the short end of the stick, and I honestly,
Right,
I under
and that
because I
sucks.
don't, I don't, like I said, I have my opinions about it, but I understand the politics of him going the third round and Shador going the fifth round,
Right,
whether or not I agree with the talent or lack thereof. But you moved him up to backup QB. So
right.
you have to know that there's a possibility that something may happen, and your QB, who is a
Yes,
rookie, may
right,
get hurt and go out. And then you got your backup, who's also a rookie, will have to come in.
right,
So for me, I think it's irresponsible for him not to have had any kind of reps at all whatsoever. He
right,
doesn't have to have 80%. I'm not saying they got to be a tag team at a practice. You got to divide it. On Mondays it's Shador, on Tuesdays it's Dylan, and then Wednesday is back, and Thursday is back to Dylan, and Friday, Ethan and Shador gets it. I'm not saying that because that's confusing as hell. But to me, there's no reason at all why he shouldn't have gotten
okay.
some reps throughout the course
Let's
of
say they
these
give
months.
right. Let's say they give Shedeur some reps. Dylan Gabriel the starter. They give Shedeur some reps. And Dylan Gabriel goes out, and
Mhm.
Shador comes in, and he balls out. You gotta pick one of the quarterbacks. They both rookie. You still in the same position. I have to
Mhm.
either pick Shador or I have to pick Dylan Gabriel.
And I always said that.
And
I
whichever
always said,
one I
look,
don't pick, I'm doing a
yeah,
disservice to.
look, that's the way they did it, unfortunately. But I
Yes,
do
that's the
feel like you
problem.
do need to figure out because there has to be a solution. Like we can
Right,
sit here and talk about all the problems, but what's the solution? I always felt like, honestly speaking, you start with Dylan Gabriel, obviously because he was drafted first and well before Shador, so on and so forth. Okay, we got that. But for me, I don't, given everything that he's had, to me, he's had the upper hand on Shedeur. Everything except for the
Yes,
fans
yes, he
chanting
had the
and
upper.
wanting to see
Yeah,
Shedeur, he's been given the upper hand in terms of the
right,
reps, in terms of the college experience, being drafted ahead of Shedeur, all these different things. And what I've seen, again, I know he's a rookie, but I don't see a spark within the offense. I don't see him leading the offense. You know what I mean? Like I don't see him inspiring. I don't see it. You know, and like I said, I could be wrong. Who knows? Game week 15, 16, 17, who knows? Dylan Gabriel could make all kind of strides. I don't know. I'm just saying based on what I've seen thus far. For me, it wasn't enough to say I'm not going to give Shador a chance at all. And that's just being biased. If it was
right.
flipped the other way around and Shador was looking how Dylan Gabriel was looking, I'm like, I love Shador, but you got to give
Yeah,
Dylan a chance to see what you got.
no, I can't do that.
Like that's I'm talking about me, not you,
Right, I'm saying that's the
because you
problem
have
that
them
Cleveland. That's the
because
problem
you
that
have them
Cleveland
both there.
has. Right,
You
that's
have
the
them
problem
both
that
there.
Cleveland has, and it's unfortunate they put their own rope around their neck to hang themselves that way.
Hmm.
Because I
Well,
feel what you're saying. Like a lot of fans feel the same way that you
I mean, you got to
feel,
figure it out one way or the
but
other.
that's the reason why they're dead. Because you in a situation, and Shador kind of spoke about this a little bit earlier today too. I was listening to a press conference. He was talking about he was telling the fans, I wish y'all wouldn't boo Dylan Gabriel like that. I appreciate y'all cheering for me, but I
Hmm.
want y'all to boo for him too because I mean, cheer for him too because when y'all boo him, like you said, these players are human. Like it hurts Dylan Gabriel and it hurts his confidence. And I want Dylan Gabriel to go out there. Like he said, I'm a good person. Like I want Dylan Gabriel to go out there and I want y'all to support him too. He's trying to make it just like I'm trying to make it. And I was like, man, Shedeur, that's a solid dude, man. He gets it. He gets what I'm trying to say. Everybody, Dylan Gabriel got way more haters than Shedeur has
I
because
disagree.
you heard it yesterday in Cleveland because when you heard booze with Dylan Gabriel and when Shedeur got in, the whole crowd erupted. That lets you know right there that, and you talk about the jersey sales, that lets you know that Shedeur has a lot more people that like him than dislike him.
But I think it's
Dylan
also
Gabriel,
because a lot of people feel like he's been done wrong. Like from the beginning, going back to the draft, a lot of people, whether we agree or we don't, felt like even if he's not drafted first, second, top 10, okay, not in the first round, okay, second round, okay, not in the third, not in the fourth, and then the fifth, like way at the back and 144th overall. Like what they doing here? That to me was part of the reason why people feel like, no, they're not doing this kid right. You know what I mean? And then when we saw how everything happened in the preseason, to me they were even performances.
no, they
The
weren't
first game
even.
should to me they were. The
Yeah,
first
but to
game,
nobody else
Shador
they
came.
were.
No, that's to other people they were. Just not to you. And some other people. That's fine.
Even Shannon them can
That
acknowledge that
first
Gabriel
game, the
outplayed
first
him.
game. I don't think he did. The first game, Shador played really, really well. Dylan Gabriel's first game, he did not play well. For some reason, we're like forgetting
He
that
played the
he did
same
not play
level. He was
well
a
in that
C
first
plus.
game. You know what I mean? Again, I'm flipping it. Then we go to the second game when Dylan Gabriel played and Shador was hurt and he did not play. Dylan
Right.
Gabriel, like that, like I said, he didn't play well. Shador played well his first game, and then when they both got a chance to play together in that second game, Flacco was first. Dylan Gabriel, he struggled his first couple of snaps, and then right before halftime, he came out, led them to a winning drive, and then Kevin Stefanski pulled him, and then Shador came in for the second half, and Shador did not play well.
No, he
But
didn't.
no, like, but I'm saying, like I said, like for me, I saw both of them play good for one game. I saw each of them play good for one game, and then that second game, they both were a little bit questionable. Dylan Gabriel didn't come in and just lead them to this scoring drive. Like he struggled a little bit, and then he came back in, and then he redeemed himself. And Shador could not. It wasn't good. I know, being
Right.
honest. But I did not see where Dylan Gabriel's performance in the preseason was miles, no
No, it
way
wasn't
above
Miles.
Shador.
He just
Like
slightly
you
outplayed
know,
Shedeur. It wasn't
I
Miles. It was
didn't see it.
slightly.
To me, it was very similar. But I get because he was, just because Shador didn't outplay him in both games. They went with Dylan Gabriel
Right.
obviously, and he's the third pick. In the third round, excuse me. So I understand the politics of it. But if you're gonna at first you had him, and then also going back to what I was saying, you had him third string, right? And everybody's like, well, now how come he's still
Right.
third string? And then people feel some kind of way about that. And then now we see him finally get a chance. We're like, oh man, he's in the game, but you didn't give him not one rep, not two reps. So I think
Right.
that's part of the reason why people like really rooted for him because they feel like he's been the underdog. I think if
He is
that
the
was not the
underdog.
way, what I'm saying is, I think if that wasn't the way the whole thing went with the media, you may not hear as many boos for Dylan Gabriel. I don't really think it's more so about the haters for Dylan Gabriel as much as it's let Shedeur have a chance. Let's see the kid play because he would feel like he's been done wrong.
You can feel like you want to feel like you want. At the end of the day, the facts is the facts. He's a fifth round quarterback.
When people don't feel like he
Yeah,
should have been, that's what I'm
yeah.
saying.
It don't matter. The
And
NFL
that's
felt like he should have been. The
look,
fans, it don't matter. The
we
fans,
can go
the,
look, we can go into that, you know what I mean?
right?
I'm not gonna even go to there because I don't believe that they felt there's more to that than just, oh, I
Yeah,
don't think,
we
he's the
might
fifth
hear
round
that we
talent,
might hear that
you
story
know,
in 2 years.
you know.
We might hear a whole story
But
in 2 years. But right now, all the fans can do is go buy his jerseys, and you can root for him, and you can and the guys in the media they can take shots at Dylan Gabriel, and they can lift up Shedeur. That's all fine. At the end of the day, that's one way of thinking. The people that really count, the ones who picked the players, they felt like Shedeur was a fifth round pick. They
I don't
drafted
believe
him in the.
that.
Well,
I
that's
don't
what
believe
happened. I
that.
mean, at the end of the day, the facts are the facts. I don't go by the fact. The fact is, he was a fifth round quarterback. He
Just
got
because
drafted
it
in the.
happened that way
That's the
doesn't
fact.
mean I didn't say that does not mean that there wasn't something else behind it, is my
It might have
point.
been, but at the end of the
That's
day,
my
I'm not.
point.
I'm not talking about what was behind it. I'm talking about the fact
I
is
because that
he
to
was drafted.
because that
He
to
was
me
drafted
matters.
in the fifth round. That's
That to
just.
me
That's just.
matters.
That's just
And that's
fact.
part of the reason why you have the fans screaming and yelling for Shador to get a
Yes,
chance because they
and
feel like he's been
and
done
that
wrong.
is exactly why the Cleveland Browns should have left him alone.
Maybe they should have, but they didn't. So,
Right,
like
and
I
and
said,
that's why everybody
what
getting
we
fired.
doing?
And I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with
So what we
everybody.
doing?
If matter of fact, I would say if Cleveland doesn't fire everybody at the end of the season, then that lets me know ownership doesn't really care about winning, and they don't know how to win because
Well,
you cannot
that's
win.
obvious. That's obvious
Right.
this season.
Right, so you gotta get rid of it. And I hate to say you gotta get rid of everybody because I root for Andrew Bear because he's a black
Hmm.
general manager. And I want
Hmm.
all black head coaches and general managers to do good. But you blowed different, bro.
Hmm.
You messed up, bro. You gotta go. Because you didn't cause this whole franchise to be the Titanic. You finna go sink into the bottom of the ocean, bro. Because you
Hmm.
did the dumbest thing that's ever been done by a general manager in the history
Hmm.
of professional football. Terry Fontenot gonna be right behind you too, because he
Say
did
it
the
again.
second. Terry
Uh-huh.
Fontenot in
Hmm.
Atlanta, he's gonna be right behind you
Hmm.
because you wanted Terry Fontenot fired last year. Arthur Blank said, "I'm gonna give you one more chance. This better work because you signed Kirk Cousins to all that money
Hmm.
to go into the draft and take Michael Penix with the 8th pick,
Hmm.
and then now you got to go back to Kirk Cousins because Michael Penix
Hmm.
is out for the season.
Yeah. So.
These fans want him. These fans want him and Maurice. I mean, Raheem Moore gone. They like you traded your first round draft pick for next year, so you can get two
Hmm.
defensive players in the first round this year because it was playoff or bust, and you're not gonna make the playoffs. It's over with.
Hmm.
Everybody they got Arthur Blank has no choice but to clean house. I hate it because I was hoping the Falcons would do good because to me they was a black organization. They had a black general manager. You got a black head coach. You got a black starting
Hmm.
quarterback. You got to pull for the A, and them men just went in there and ruined the organization.
Um, as it pertains to Michael Penix, I thought he was talented watching him in college, but the injuries were a concern to me.
Yeah, they always been
So
a concern.
so for me, I was like, oh, I like when I was like watching him in college and hearing him talk about all his injuries. I was like, oh, that's if I'm an NFL team, that's concerning to me.
Yeah,
Do I want to bring this young talent in who already has a history of injury because we got a quarterback, Captain Kirk, who's dealing with injury. Coming off of injury, he's also older.
right.
So that wouldn't have been my personal choice. If I had to pick, obviously I don't. But I understood why they did because Captain Kirk is not always consistent. Although I do like him, he seems like a very nice man. I like when he's swag surfing. He seems pretty cool. Like a
Yeah,
nice, well-rounded family man. He's very likable.
he's a
Um,
solid
but
quarterback.
but I can see why they wanted to get somebody else in there, because he's a little bit older, and in case it don't work out, we can, fall back,
I
on
thought it was a
hopefully,
brilliant move.
the rookie QB.
I thought it was a brilliant move. I
Hmm.
said, yeah, I get that. I mean, I didn't know. Don't get me wrong. When they first signed Kirk Cousins, I was like, that's a dumb move. Why did
Hmm.
y'all get Kirk Cousins for when he's coming off an Achilles injury? He's a middle
Hmm.
of the road quarterback. He's average
Yeah.
at best. Yeah. Now he might win enough games to keep you out of the lottery. So
Hmm.
then when they drafted Michael Penix, I thought the smart thing to do. I didn't think they would do it. I was
Hmm.
like, man, the Falcons need to take a quarterback with that eighth pick.
Hmm.
I like Michael Penix. I think because he's more mature. He's played a lot of college football. I know he had injuries, but
Hmm.
he's probably the most ready to play right now. That's what I thought. I
Hmm.
said, yeah. So when they drafted Michael Penix, I was surprised. I was like, man, they finally did the right thing. But
Okay.
the plan wasn't for Michael Penix to play. The plan was to let Michael Penix sit behind Kirk Cousins for a whole year and develop. I told you about Atlanta, which is different from Cleveland. Cleveland fans gonna show up to the game regardless of what the team doing. The team can go 0-17. They're gonna sell out the stadium. Those fans are loyal. Those are some of the best fans in the league. Atlanta fans ain't like that. Atlanta fans are fickle. If you don't do what they ask for,
Hmm.
they won't show up to that building. And you sitting there with a $70,000 dome and it's half empty. So
Hmm.
when the fans were pressuring them, Kirk Cousins went on a little slide. When he lost that game in New Orleans, I was like, damn, that's a bad look. They
Hmm.
should have kept Kirk Cousins in. They should have let him finish it out. Kirk Cousins didn't come out due to injury. He came out because he was playing so bad that they decided, man, we got to go with Michael Penix. And they threw Michael Penix out there.
I don't think
Well,
he was fully healed.
yeah, but he wasn't on the injury report. That's what I'm
No,
saying. Right.
no, he
So if
wasn't.
he so if he's on the injury report, then I get it. Pull him, he's hurt. Put Michael
Hmm.
Penix in. They put him in, they pulled Kirk Cousins.
Hmm.
Well, at that point, you got to go with Michael Penix. You can't pull Michael Penix. Then the coaching did some, it was bad coaching. He didn't
Hmm.
put Penix in the right situation to succeed,
Hmm.
but Penix is a rookie. And now people are like, oh, Michael Penix, he hurt, he ain't playing well. He's a rookie. You got to develop him. They made their bed. I'm sorry that you're paying a backup quarterback $50 million. That's the bed they made. That
Yeah.
decision that they made. If you knew
I,
you were going to draft a quarterback in the first round, don't give Kirk Cousins $50 million. That's all I'm saying. Just draft the rookie
I
and
don't
put him
think it's
in.
what I don't think they expected to. I could be wrong though. I don't think that's what they were gonna do. I think they were like, wait, hold on, Michael Penix is still there. We got a chance to get a QB in the top 10. We gonna go for it and just roll the dice and see what happens.
Yeah, but if they wouldn't have got Michael Penix, they would have got Drake May.
Hmm.
It was going to be a quarter. I think how many, like 6 quarterbacks got drafted in the first round? They were
Hmm.
going to get a quarter. They knew whether or not they were going to get a quarterback. If you know you're going to get a quarterback, why are you paying this guy who's middle of the pack all this money? $100 million guaranteed. When you could
Somebody
just
didn't.
draft him.
Somebody didn't trust him. I don't
Right.
know.
And so
Somebody
therefore,
said, I don't really know about this. This about this
yeah.
guy.
And the
I
owner, and
think. Hmm.
one thing the owner don't want to hear from the general manager is I don't know.
Hmm.
You need to know.
I think that's
And that's
why he
why,
knows. Okay, I paid Captain Kirk, and if it don't work out, I can fall
yeah.
back on the backup,
Yeah, that's
backup
why they
rookie, and I
all
can keep my job. That's what I'm
no,
thinking.
but he ain't gonna keep his job. It's over with. It's unfortunate. I
Um,
hate it for the brother.
I personally don't see Shedeur being anything special, but if Cleveland believe he can be, they should try not to play him for 2 years. People are too important, or too impatient, excuse me. I mean, if they Shador or Dylan Gabriel, if you're going to sit your rookies for 2 years, then who do you have them sitting behind? Like, because make sure you have somebody there who they can really learn,
Yeah,
and
right.
develop, while they're sitting behind. Don't put them there behind somebody who's, not really that good because
You can't put
you
a
have them
rookie
sitting
behind a
around
rookie. Right,
for no reason, like
right.
so,
You can't
you
put a
know.
rookie behind a rookie. Put a rookie behind a vet so he can learn.
That's what I'm
He
talking
can
about. I'm saying if you're gonna
right,
make them sit behind for 2 years, you want them to
right,
develop, okay, but who you putting them behind?
right. So they don't have a plan.
You know.
You don't have a plan for next year. Okay, you got 2 rookie quarterbacks, Shedeur and Dylan. Your team ain't good.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have a high first round. You got a lot of first round draft picks, but you got a
Mm-hmm.
high first round draft pick next year.
Mhm.
And now, you also got Jacksonville first round draft pick from the Travis
Mhm.
Hunter trade. So now, what you gonna get another quarterback? So then, what you gonna do with the other two rookies that you got?
That's why I said I need to figure
Like,
out if they
they
got a
don't have a
starting QB
plan.
there or you don't. That's what you need to figure out. So that way you know what you need to do.
Let's say they figure out they don't know, they don't have a quarterback. Neither of the two really plays so outstanding, which is unexpected because
Mhm.
rookie quarterbacks need time to develop. You're not going to see
Mhm.
it in the first year. Okay, you don't. So now you don't know. But the owner saying you need to, like I'm telling you about Terry Furno, the owner gonna look at the general manager and say, you need to know. I'm paying
Mhm.
you to know. Okay, now he has to go in the draft. This kid, one of these young quarterbacks, whether it's Sellers, whether it's Mendoza,
Mhm.
whichever one of these quarterbacks that have promise that you like, you work them out, you bring them in, you say, okay, we really like this kid out of Indiana, we really like this kid out of South Carolina. Okay, now you take that kid. What are you gonna do with the other two quarterbacks? You can't have them backing up another rookie. That makes
No,
no
of
sense at
course not.
all.
That's why I said you got to figure out. Okay, do you have
Right,
your starting QB? Do you not have a starting QB in either
right,
one of them? Is
right,
one good enough, to keep working on, keep developing, and putting weapons around? Because they got a lot of picks. If you're gonna
right.
go with Dylan, okay, we believe in Dylan. Whatever, go with Dylan. Bring some picks in, to dial up that offensive line and put him in the best position to win. That's what you're gonna do and
Yeah,
hopefully let Shedeur go someplace else where he has a chance. But there's no point in keeping multiple upon multiple rookie, QBs
right,
and then you're just wasting picks, and,
right.
and you're not doing anything on the offensive side of the ball. So,
And that's why you got to clean house so the new general manager can take the team in the direction that he wants to go
mhm,
in. You can't trust these guys no more. These guys have lost all the trust. They don't know what they're doing. It's a dumpster fire. So you got to put a new general manager and a new head coach in there and let them decide how they want to move forward with the franchise. Whether they want to believe in one of the young quarterbacks they got now or they want to go in the draft, they'll make that decision very early in the offseason. They're not going to wait
mhm,
because you can't
mhm,
afford to wait because if you're going to evaluate a quarterback, you got to be evaluating that quarterback immediately.
mhm,
Senior Bowl going forward. You got matter of
mhm,
fact, you gotta already have your scouts at the games right now, scouting
mhm.
quarterbacks. So they ain't got no time to waste. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if they just go ahead and alleviate these guys that do this sometimes during
Mhm.
week 12, week 13. Look, we ain't got no more time to waste. We got to figure out what we gonna do going forward. Y'all guys clearly don't have a plan.
I'm gonna read this last comment before we get out of here. Big dog Browns ain't finna achieve nothing. Him sitting behind Flacco and Gabriel for 2 years would not have been a problem. Would not been a problem. LOL. And technically, Sanders is a fourth string if you include Deshaun Watson. You forgot about Bailey Zapp. You know,
Burgess out don't count. He's a scout team quarterback.
look, he's there. You never
He's
know.
there
Okay,
as a scout team quarterback. He's
I,
not
I
in
don't
the
like
folds.
with this organization. I don't put nothing past
I agree
nobody.
with
So
that. Now I agree with that.
even
They
though
they, they might have should have played
you
better
know.
yesterday. They probably would have won. They could have won the game.
But
All they
hey,
needed was 6 points. Jeez.
um, but nevertheless, thank you guys for tuning in to this very long week recap weekly recap. Uh, Big Dog, I know you 49ers fan. Thank you for supporting. Tell your mom I said thank you. I think she might have went to bed because we went a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit
yeah,
late.
yeah. She went. I mean, sometimes she can't sleep, so she'll be up.
hmm
But
Uh-huh.
hopefully she went to bed and got her some sleep.
hmm
That'll be a good thing for her. So, but I'm glad she stopped by and chimed in.
Yeah.
And I know she kept it on the
hmm
she probably put it on multiple TVs. That's what she do. She like to support me in the stuff I do.
Aw.
So, I appreciate her for that. You know.
That's what a mom's supposed to do. Support her
Right,
baby, even when
right,
he's not her baby anymore.
right,
And thank you as always for joining me on these Monday/Tuesday night recaps. By the time that no, it actually
right.
we get started. But yeah, you guys, if you are not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe. You don't have the raw things in here, I know. One Man Cave, Apple Man Cave, Mind the Game. Are you still doing that
Yeah,
podcast?
I got in the game podcast.
Uh,
Yeah, in the game. We on the in the
in the
game
game. That's what
network
you
tonight.
mean.
One man cave. Built for this radio network. which I'll probably re-air. I'll actually re-air this show
Mm-hmm.
probably tomorrow around 5 o'clock on the
Mm-hmm.
Netflix Radio Network. And yeah, it's been fun, man. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I'm glad to have this conversation with you. I know what gets you ticking now.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
Um, you guys, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, you know what it is. It's just Simply Sports. It's right there at the top. Just Simply Sports with me, Kaja. Big Dog says, should I go to IHOP or go to bed? Go get you some pancakes, Big Dog. Go get you some pancakes. Go to IHOP. Butter pecan syrup is the way to go. That's my tip to you. Don't listen to no, don't listen to now. He's gonna say go to bed. It's too late to eat. Probably. Go get your pancakes. Go get your pancakes, Big Dog. Live your life with the butter pecan syrup though. That's that. It has to be butter pecan. Butter pecan syrup or nothing.
That strawberry serves pretty good too. But I ain't had IHOPs in decades, so I don't know. I don't know. I don't
You
go to
go to
IHOP.
what you go to a vegan spot for breakfast or something.
No, I don't know. Most of the time when I go out and spend money at restaurants, I'm good at finding black-owned restaurants. I
Mm-hmm.
like to spend my money with black people as much as possible. So I probably spend like 90 to 93% of my dollars with the black community, or else I'll be a hypocrite, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a whole nother thing. Talk about on controversial truth. But a lot of times we complain as people
Mm-hmm.
about the decisions that these people make, and then we go
Mm-hmm.
support all their businesses and all their products and give them all
True.
that money to put that money
Very
towards
true.
their political capital and their political agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, is something that you're complaining about, but you're
Mm-hmm.
funding that thing that you're complaining about. So
Very
stop
true.
doing that. Stop doing that, and be the change that you want to see. And a lot of us talk a good game, but we're not living it. So, you know, do what makes
I
you happy at
agree.
the end of the day.
I agree. I couldn't agree with. That's the one thing I agree with you tonight that you said.
You
So
agree with a lot of things I said tonight. It's just not
that's
on
that's
Dylan
that's
Gabriel
that's that's
Shedeur.
the one that stuck out
I'm
to me.
giving you the
So
gospel. You should be taking notes when we having these
I ain't taking
shows.
no damn notes when they come to Shedeur. That's what I'm not
Now,
gonna
when
do.
it comes everything else, take notes. Cause all I do, I'm telling you what's gonna happen going forward. I'm telling you the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Telling you
yeah.
how this thing
You telling
works.
me your version of the truth,
I'm
not
just
the
telling
truth.
you. Yeah, I'm telling you the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yeah,
So
okay.
help you God.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. Good night, you guys. Big dog, enjoy your pancakes. Again with the butter pecan syrup. Drive safely because it is late. Be careful out there. See you guys for week 12 next week. Be safe, y'all. Good night. Here we go.